Let's get nasty on a Thursday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Andrew Marsh, Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter, no Carey Davis for the next 2 days. Carey's got a big game for Illinois out in Lincoln, Nebraska, as top 25 teams in that conference battle it out. Nebraska and Illinois, so that should be interesting tomorrow night. So go Illini. I'm not a Nebraska fan.
No.
No,
we got to go with our guy, Carey.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's start off with the Cardinals today, guys. The Cardinals get it done last night against the Pittsburgh Pirates. They've won 3 in a row. And the two guys how about this? The 3 guys that wound up being showcased last night were Jordan Walker, Mason Wynn, and Michael McGreevy. 3 young guys.
The future.
So was last night a glimpse of what could have been for the Cardinals, or a glimpse of what could be in 2025?
I think more of what can be for 2025.
I do too.
Because I don't think McGreevy was ready out of spring training. Obviously, Jordan Walker wasn't quite ready. But what I love about watching this team right now is, I'm going to say it, it's exciting baseball. There's mistakes that are made because there's youth involved.
Yeah.
But then there's also exceptional baseball that's played by these young guys they're full of enthusiasm and energy, and I don't know. I looked out on the field last night, and the only 2 real elder statesmen were Arenado and Goldschmidt. Mm-hmm. The rest of the lineup is pretty much what I've been talking about, the youth movement. Go with the young guys. Go ahead. McGreevy comes out of the pen. That kid's almost unhittable right now. I mean, I know the league will get a book on him at some point, and the market will correct itself to a certain point, but man, he looks good.
Yeah.
He looks confident. He's owning the strike zone, and lots of swing and miss stuff where you're like, okay, why are we not talking more about this guy?
Right.
Jordan Walker, a couple of blunders in the outfield last night. Those are going to happen, but then he rips a 115-mile-an-hour laser beam down third base for a double and clears the bases.
Yep.
Again, take the bad, take the good. Mason Wynn, excuse me, I get choked up talking about Mason Wynn.
Absolutely.
Personal favorite of mine.
Young kid, and you want to see him do well, and he's doing well, so I can understand where you get emotional.
Yeah, but he had another good game. A throwing error, throws it wide. Goldie has to try and do the sweep tag after that. It's an error. But then, boom, he hits a home run. Exciting baseball. I think Cardinals fans are ready for that.
Okay, so I want to build off of what you just said.
Sure.
Can you share it? And it is anecdotal, but I don't think that what you experienced last night is any sort of aberration. I actually think that the majority of Cardinals fans would want this. So go ahead and tell me what you were telling us in the pre-show meeting.
About last night?
Yeah.
Yeah, so last night, sitting at good old Frankie Martin's garden out in Cotterville. God, I love that place. It's awesome, especially in the fall, fire pits. Anyways, huge TV watching the Cardinals game. And as you walk in and out, you're doing things, people are talking about the Cardinals. And people who recognize me ask me about the Cardinals. What do you think? Or the Blues, all that stuff.
Yeah.
We start talking a little bit about the Cardinals. They're talking about the young kids. They love watching young. They don't care. That one person said, I don't even care if they win or lose. I just like watching these young guys play. It's fun. It's exciting. It gives me something to look forward to. I was like, okay, the handful of people that I talk to are not the entire fan base.
Right.
I understand it. But it is a glimpse into what the fan base is thinking. And they weren't 25-year-olds either. We're talking 40-plus-year-old baseball fans. So they are old school. So if they're, that's just the kids. They don't know any different. They don't know what real Cardinals baseball. No, these people did. Yeah. They know what real Cardinals baseball is. They're just
it was a Wednesday night.
Correct.
It's not like you were hanging out at Busch Stadium, or whatever. It's like you said. It was an older crowd,
and it was an organic conversation.
Yeah.
So it was. But to me, the biggest takeaway is that they're okay with a team middling in the 500s if it means that these young players who are exciting get a chance to play, and then looking past next year to 2026, you'd have to imagine then the Cardinals automatically kind of become a contender again for the Central Division, because these young guys just keep taking those steps forward, and then with the cost-controlled contracts, you might be able to add at that point, add a arm for the rotation, a big name maybe come in top of the rotation guy, or a bat that comes in. So I don't know. To me, it was eye-opening to see that the people that I have been talking to are more than happy and more than ready to just go with what they've got right now, get through it and worry about, championships another day.
Yeah, again, this is just one instance, but I think Cardinals fans are tired of seeing the majority of Cardinals fans are tired of seeing what we have seen over the last 5, 6, 7 years now, which is this, we keep calling it a Band-Aid approach, but really you're just running on a treadmill. You're not going anywhere. You're exercising, but you're not going anywhere. So do you want to see, I understand the feeling of, well, a youth movement might mean a complete rebuild. That doesn't, the two things are actually pretty separate. If you go with a rebuild, you are getting rid of big contracts. You are tearing the thing down.
And you're also
the White Sox are rebuilding. You're not rebuilding.
And you're also admitting to your fan base that, hey, this is going to get really ugly.
Yeah. That's not what this is, and that's not what Jamie and I are suggesting, because, Jamie, I'm with you. I think a partial rebuild or a partial retool would be very beneficial, not only for the fan base, but for the organization, too. Do you want to continue to go down this route? There's plenty. I'm telling you right now, whether it's Lance Lynn himself or a Lance Lynn carbon copy, there's going to be plenty of Lance Lynns again on the open market.
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be plenty of Kyle Gibsons on the open market. You could run this thing back again, but what is that doing? You're just repeating the same mistake, as opposed to rolling with a partial retool and a partial youth movement, giving open spots. Not only open spots, but runway for a Michael McGreevy to do his thing, to have ups and downs, to not say, well, we needed this instant production in the first 2 weeks. We didn't see it, so we're going to have to send you down. We're just going to rely on the veterans again. You're going to get the same results over and over and again. And not speaking for Cardinals fans, but I think the majority of Cardinals fans are sick of that. They're tired of it.
Well, and I think that they recognize good baseball, too. And I think that Cardinals fans understand that young players make mistakes, but they also can do some pretty special things, too.
I think the one thing that I find interesting is, and I wonder if it's just because we're seeing it happen right now, when I look at the opening day lineup, man, it looks almost exactly the same as what you saw yesterday in terms of the players that were in it. Now, the lineup itself, the construction of it is different, but Brendan Donovan, he's been playing. Paul Goldschmidt. Nolan Gorman is obviously not on the big league roster right now with the big league team, but you can assume that he will be factored into next year unless they trade him.
Yeah.
Arenado, Contreras is injured. Burleson, Walker, Scott or Ciani, he played a majority of the early in the year, and then Mason Wynn. So we've kind of seen this retool happen the whole year. That's why I brought it up yesterday about the whole bad marketing thing, because this is what they've been doing all season long.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, all right, well, let's. So when I think of the youth movement, does it really have to come down to the pitching rather than the offense? Because for the majority of the season, we've seen the same characters all season long.
Yeah,
offensively.
The majority of it, you're absolutely right. I think where the difference obviously lies is giving Jordan Walker the runway to do his thing, right? Like to actually allowing these young guys to go through the ups and downs at the big league level.
Yeah.
I understand why Jordan Walker was sent down. I don't know if we see a dramatically different season if Walker is up the entire year. It seems to be. We'll never know. But it does seem to be that he needed to work on some things at the minor league level. The reason why I think that is because he was down there for the majority of the year.
Right.
So they weren't seeing something. Now, we can blame that. Maybe we blame the Cardinals for that. I don't know. But the bottom line is there was a major league organization felt as though that he wasn't ready to take that next step. And maybe they even sensed that he was going to get frustrated, overwhelmed because he wasn't seeing the results. So I'm with you, Marsh. I do think, though, that it's not just about changing some of these faces, but actually giving them an opportunity to fail and succeed.
And to your point, I think that bringing in those veteran players, the veteran leadership, they were taking at-bats away from these players. And so maybe you get rid of that, and instead of the veteran guys, it's more younger guys. But then that brings up the question of, if you have these younger guys who aren't playing every day, shouldn't they be in AAA? Like Luke and Baker. Yeah, is he an everyday guy for you next season?
He's a bat off the bench for me.
Yeah, because I don't know if you look at Luke and Baker and say we're still developing him.
No.
No, he's like my age.
You know what he is at this point, and giving him an opportunity to just, be a pinch hitter. That's also a spot you can develop. You can develop at the big league level. Hey, here's what it's going to take. Like John Mabry, he was somebody that grew into a pinch hitter. Somebody that's a completely different role. I mean, to come off the bench cold, to understand what your matchup is.
Yep.
You can kind of work with Luke and Baker, I think, at the big league level, too, as opposed to giving that spot to a Matt Carpenter or somebody that might be a little bit more limited.
Well, and why wouldn't you give that spot to Luke and Baker? The guy kills baseballs.
Right.
And he's not really built to play in the field every day.
No.
I think he would admit that himself. So why not be a big bopper off the bench? Play DH, and you're a right-handed bat off the bench. He crushes left-handed pitching. So I look at that, and then I also look at, you talk about this lineup, Marshy, and I think Sunday against the Guardians is the Cardinals' last home game. I give Matt Carpenter the last at-bat, whatever he's going to do at Busch Stadium.
And
thank him, and then I put him on the IR the next day, and I call up Nolan Gorman for the last 6 games of the season.
It's not a bad idea.
Bring him up. Let him finish the year at the big league club. Let him take some hacks. He's been killing the baseball down in Memphis. Carp he's not going to care.
Right.
Well, all he wants is his last at-bat at Busch Stadium, which he deserves.
Absolutely.
Give him a standing ovation, whether it's a home run, a strikeout. And now it doesn't matter. He walks off the field. He kind of tweaked an oblique at that last at-bat. Call up Gorman. Let him finish out the season as a bat off the bench, a DH, a second baseman, whatever you want him to be.
Right. I'm with you on that. All right. We have a lineup out, so we will play the lineup game next in the Fast Lane, where it's 2:13. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Again, lineup game next on 101 ESPN. Auto Centers Nissan's got their fall into savings plan, and we're talking about great financing options and discounts all throughout the month of September. But it's already 9/19, so we're talking about a month that is quickly moving past us. So you want to make sure that you head out to Herculaneum. They have over 700 vehicles all in one spot, and you're going to find the perfect ride. 0% APR on select new Nissans like Pathfinders and Rogues and Altimas. Financing terms as long as 84 months. It's all available at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. Plus, they're throwing in thousands in bonus Nissan bonus cash and dealer discounts. It's their lowest prices of the year. As always, they give you the 30-day new car return promise within 30 days. If you're not completely satisfied with the purchase, bring it back. They'll refund you your money, and they'll set you up with something else that you're looking for. Complimentary lifetime warranty on new Nissans and used eligible used vehicles. Complimentary one-year maintenance on new Nissan purchases as well. You can start at AutoCentersNissan.com, and when you head down to Herculaneum, tell them Stalter sent you. It's Auto Centers Nissan. Time to play the lineup game here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN as the Cardinals go for 4 straight tonight against the Pittsburgh Pirates. It'll be Eric Fetty versus Luis Ortiz, who starts for the Pirates. He is a right-hander. So I think that this one should be pretty straightforward from a lineup perspective, but you never know. Ollie could.
Do you think they run it back literally just like yesterday?
Well, let's find out. Go ahead.
All right, show us. Mason Wynn.
I'm watching the Futures game, and this thing's all over Instagram. It's like, this guy threw a ball 100 across the time. That's awesome, but, like, how many throwing errors does he have?
Shut up! Now, in defense of our guy Justin Turner, Mason Wynn has picked up the volume of throwing errors here in recent play.
He'll be fine.
He's got 16 on the year now. He wasn't completely wrong.
No, but still.
I know.
Shut up.
Shut up.
All right, go ahead. This is your guy, too.
Show us that big burly guy.
Kind of closed my eyes and swung at it and did what I wanted to do.
Burley to the rescue!
By the way, I liked Burleson last night when they got that awful called strike 3. The big boy got a little heated. His face turned red a little bit. I was like, yeah.
He's still into it.
Let the big bear eat.
There you go. All right, Paul Goldschmidt here. Show us, Paul Goldschmidt.
Gold! Rich with gold! Gold!
Show us Nolan Arenado.
He's a Gold Glove winner and perennial All-Star.
Oh, listen to Mr. Gold Glove over here.
Come on.
All righty.
It's got to be Brendan Donovan,
I
right?
would think it'd be Brendan Donovan.
Show us that headband guy.
Donnie.
Hey, this headband's pretty cool.
And who was this yesterday? Newt Bar?
I think he was...
Hang on, I'll check because I keep track of this stuff, Anthony. Very thorough. No, yesterday was Herrera here. I think it's Paez.
Yeah.
I think this is a Newt Bar.
I think this is Newt Bar.
Show us. Lars Newt Bar.
What makes you think she's a witch?
Well, she
Nice
turned
job,
me into a
Jamie.
newt.
My head just about exploded.
Got better.
All right, so I agree. I think this is probably a Paez night.
Not here.
Not here.
Not up in here. This
Nope.
is Jordan Walker right here.
Yep. And Walker, Paez, Ciani.
Yeah, go for it.
Show us Jordan Walker.
What's his angle?
What angle?
Launch!
Launching now.
All right. Andrew, would you be so kind as to show us Petey Pages, please? Finish it up, Anthony.
Show us Michael Superbad Ciani.
Michael.
You're not Michael Phelps. You're Michael Cera.
That's a perfect lineup, boys.
It's a pretty good job there, boys.
Yeah.
I mean, they tried to throw the curveball at us there with no Herrera in here, but we got you, Ollie. We're on to you.
We figured it right
Especially
out.
when Herrera couldn't barely get the ball out of his glove to throw at anybody at second yesterday. That makes me...
Details.
I have a physical reaction every time I see that happen. It's not like a vomit thing, not like with Carlos Martinez. Like, that one just came on out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But this one's more like I want to punch myself in the face. Like, I'm tired of seeing it. I don't want to watch it anymore. And maybe if I punch myself in the face, I can't see it.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
A single's an automatic double against Herrera.
What about the 3 for 5?
That was great. That's fine. But I'm isolating a part of the game that is absolutely atrocious.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice job, Jamie. Marsh, go ahead.
All right.
For our home run derby. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait. Run it, please.
Come on,
Run it, please.
Anthony.
I was jumping ahead. My bad.
Leading off, the shortstop, Mason Wynn. Batting second, your DH, Alec Burleson. Batting third, first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt. Your cleanup hitter, third baseman, Nolan Arenado. Batting fifth, second baseman, Brendan Donovan. Batting sixth in left field, Lars Taylor Tattooey. Batting seventh in right field, Jordan Walker. Batting eighth, catching is Pedro Paez. And batting ninth in center field is Michael Ciani.
Back. Stay fair!
Go foul!
I don't believe what I just saw.
Home run.
Go ahead, Marshy.
Now, Marsh, you can go.
Give me Alec Burleson.
Son of a... That's where I was going today. I'm going to go back to the well on this one. We didn't see him last night, but I have a feeling you'll see him tonight. Luke and Baker, off the bench, please.
I mean, I gotta go with the 10 spot here. I gotta play to win.
Yeah.
So we haven't seen Matt Carpenter in a while, but I don't know who else. What other bench options are there?
Herrera.
Sajasi.
Sajasi?
Okay. All right.
Which one?
I'll go with Sajasi.
Okay.
Should we give Carey Jordan Walker? He's picked him twice.
Well, he loves him, and he loves Mason Wynn, too, so either one is fine.
I think Jordan Walker for Carey is more than respectable.
Yep.
All right. So the Cardinals right now, following their win last night, are 77 and 75. They're in second place in the Central. Not that that matters because, as we know, they've been eliminated from winning the division. In the wild card, you're still at least slightly interested. The Cardinals are 7 games back of the Diamondbacks for that third wild card spot. The Braves are 2 games back now. They won last night, but they cannot make any ground up against Arizona. Now, Milwaukee's playing Arizona tonight. The Braves are up big right now in Cincinnati, 11-3, bottom of the 7th. But the Braves' free fall here because of the injuries and just some of the fact that they cooled off recently, it's shocking to think that the Atlanta Braves are likely to miss the playoffs. Yeah. Conversely, the New York Mets are firmly in the wild card mix.
Right now they are.
Like, what planet are we on?
I told you guys, 2 months ago, I said the Mets got something kind of neat going on there.
Yeah.
I don't think they're a championship team, but they're a team that's loving going to the field. They love being teammates, and they're playing good baseball.
Yep.
And sometimes that helps you. And I think also the pressure has been taken off of them a bit by the owner saying, hey, you know what? We're going to back it down a little bit. We might take a step backwards before we take 2 steps forwards again. Kind of let the players be like, okay, you know what? We're not expected to do great things. Let's just go have some fun, go play baseball.
Yeah.
And the result is that they're playing good baseball.
Yeah, no kidding. So the Mets right now, firmly in that second wild card spot. The Padres are still leading the wild card race at only 2.5 games. So the Mets and Diamondbacks feasibly could still catch them. But we're running out of time here. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We've got What's Trending next.
Are you looking at your windows and maybe they're old and, well, they're just not efficient anymore, which means that hot air the last couple of days leaking its way into the house, and your air conditioner kicks on, costing you a lot of money? Let me tell you about my friends over at Window World. First of all, they're simply the best for less, and they're ranked number 1 in number of windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine, and they use a window that has double strength to it, so it's not just an efficient window to where it keeps that cold or that heat locked in your house, but it's durable. It doesn't break easily, and they also back it all up with a lifetime warranty that covers all the parts, the glass breakage, and the labor. And their installers are fantastic. They get out, they measure your window properly, then they custom order the window to fit perfectly in your home. And then they make sure that if you have any questions, they answer those for you as well. And right now, still going on, they've got up to 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. And all you have to do for all that stuff is give them a call. But when you call them, tell them Jamie from 101 ESPN sent you. That qualifies you for 4 Blues tickets to an upcoming game. And that number's 314-993-1800. That's 314-993-1800. Or visit them at windowworldstlouis.com.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals pick up a victory over the Pirates last night. Final score 10-5. They'll go for the sweep tonight as Eric Fetty will take the mound going up against Luis Ortiz. First pitch is at 6:15 tonight on 101 ESPN. You can listen to Thursday Night Football. It's the Jets and the Patriots. Pregame starts at 6:30. We will do our NFL Week 3 Pick'em Challenge later in the show, so stay tuned for that. Also, if you've missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll find our full shows there, and it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. This Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at Londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's time to find out what's going on in the sports world with What's Trending Now. Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate a car and get tickets to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter and Jamie Rivers. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, did you happen to see the video on the internet of C.J. Stroud and Caleb Williams meeting at the 50-yard line or wherever they met on the field after the game, and C.J. Stroud was giving Caleb Williams some advice, and it looked like Caleb Williams was like, I really don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that, and what did you think of it?
I have not seen it. I'm going to try and find it.
Yeah, he was. It did look like Caleb Williams was kind of brushing off maybe the interaction with C.J. Stroud. Who knows in that moment what anybody is thinking. I mean, if Caleb Williams just got his rear end handed to him again, second straight week, because even though the Bears won in week 1, they did not play well offensively in that one. He couldn't move the ball at all, so I'm sure there was a lot of frustrations. We saw a lot of this too at USC, where Caleb Williams seemingly didn't take losses very well.
Right.
Not that anybody needs to celebrate losses. That's not what I'm saying. But like he would wear his emotions on his sleeve after losses. So perhaps it's a little bit of that.
Yeah, and I'm watching the video right now, and I don't blame Caleb Williams. Like, I'm not a big Caleb Williams fan. I just not yet, anyways. But I don't blame him. If my first year in the league and a second-year player came up to me after a game, let's say I had a bad game.
Yeah.
It was -3 in the game. Not directly my fault that we lost, but I certainly didn't help my team and whatnot. The guy grabs me after the game, hey, man, just keep going. I mean, get the F away from me.
Yeah.
Get away.
Yeah, you were a rookie a year ago.
Don't touch me. Don't grab me around my shoulder pads. Get away from me. I'd like to just go and digest what the hell just happened on the field or on the ice.
Right.
I don't need your advice right now. You want to talk to me later in the hallway or grab a beer after? Fine. But no, leave me alone. So I don't blame him for that. Now, I also don't sit here and I'm not blaming C.J. Stroud for trying to be a good guy.
Right, right.
I think that's a great move by a guy who's obviously a leader, and he's trying to help out, not a teammate, but another quarterback, another young player at the same time. So I don't blame either guy for this situation.
Yeah, I mean, so apparently he told Caleb Williams, good job out there, stop taking all those hits. He said he began to walk away. Stroud pulled Williams back into the conversation. Said, come here, learn from those mistakes and everything that you want, bro. I'm sorry. And everything that you got, bro, is in you already. You're going to be a hell of a player in this league. To your point, Jamie, right after the game, you're almost peers. C.J. Stroud was a rookie last year. Caleb Williams rookie this year. It's not as if Tom Brady is trying to talk to you.
Yeah, I don't think Caleb Williams would be pulling away from Tom Brady.
I wouldn't think so.
I don't think he would.
Yeah.
I know he wouldn't be.
This is also one of these moments where just as human beings, like, hey, unless somebody's asking you for advice, it's probably just better just hey, nice game, see you later.
Yeah, or find him after. I've been in the world of professional sports. You just talk to one of the ball boys or whatever. You say, hey, man, go down and talk to their trainers or whatever, see if Williams is around in about 15 minutes. Meet me in the tunnel over here, whatever. I'd like to just say hi to the kid.
Yeah.
And that gets arranged, and then you get out there and usually dap it up a little bit and be like, hey, man, how you doing? Talk a little bit. And then you can offer some words of wisdom at that point because nobody's watching.
Right.
It doesn't look like you're being fathered at 50-yard line.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Right, absolutely.
Well, here's C.J. Stroud's explanation of kind of what happened, and he was asked about it. So let's listen to what C.J. Stroud had to say.
I had some of the best advice given to me last year, and me and Caleb, I was not trying to like treat him like I was trying to like little bro him or not. He knows that too. I have a ton of respect for him. I told him I have respect for him. But I had so many guys coming to me after games last year, and that meant the world to me. That those guys even thought about giving me advice. So I just try to get back to what the game has given to me. So I wish him the best, man. I want him to do amazing in this league. I think he will. I think that he'll get his groove. And once you get your rhythm, I didn't get my rhythm until like week 3, week 4. So I can see his game picking up from here. And so, I don't think he was trying to be any towards away. He's just upset that they lost. I totally understand. So I have a ton of respect for that guy, man. I want him to do extremely well, just like any other guy until we play on that day. You know what I mean? And after the game, we can be cool. You know what I mean? But I'm definitely, rooting for him and want to see him do extremely well.
I think C.J. Stroud is a young veteran, if that makes any sense.
Well, I think you're almost forced to be when you're a quarterback. Like, you have to earn the respect of your team immediately because you got to be the leader of that offense. And when something goes wrong, you've got to be able to call a guy out or find the fix or pump a guy up. Like, you're automatically a veteran when you're a quarterback in the NFL. Like,
yeah.
That's the way I look at it. Like, you have to act like it at least.
Right.
We talked about this earlier this week. We saw Quinn Ewers go down with an injury. Arch Manning came in. He did pretty damn good, I'd say. Arch Manning is going to get his first start for Texas as Quinn Ewers recovers. Thoughts on that? They take on UL Monroe. I think they'll be fine. But
I would think so.
Thoughts on Arch Manning? And if Quinn Ewers is out for quite some time, does Texas remain the same team with Arch Manning as quarterback?
I think a lot of people would immediately just say, "Oh yeah, absolutely, they'll pick up right where they're at." But we are talking about a change in quarterbacks. It's you're switching things up. Now the other thing though that I would have to believe that Texas is going to be just fine because he can run. I mean, Arch Manning can run.
Yes,
Quinn Ewers is a bit of a run. Yeah. So Manning comes into the second quarter. I think he had like 5. He accounted for 5 touchdowns overall for Texas. Unbelievable athlete. Unbelievable quarterback prospect, the top prospect in the class of 2023. Texas is now, once again, I wouldn't say now, is once again a legitimate national championship contender. I think they'll be fine. But you are switching quarterbacks. There is going to be a different, there's a different cadence to things. The huddle's a little bit different. Ball comes out a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Against UL Monroe, I think they're going to be fine, but just something to keep an eye on.
They might even be better.
It might be.
Like, I know Quinn Ewers he's touted to be a top pick in the NFL draft, but all things considered, Arch Manning looks like he might be that too in a couple of years.
Right. You know this, though. It's not just about, and they both got talent, it's about the leadership aspect. Mm-hmm. Texas got to the playoffs last year. They got drubbed by Washington, but there's a lot of people that believe, a lot of teammates that believe in what Quinn Ewers is. So I think the fact that he lost the job because of an injury, and Arch Manning has seemingly been very patient, and there hasn't been like this groundswell to get him into games too soon. It's going to be interesting to see. A lot of people love Quinn Ewers' leadership.
Sticking with football, yesterday we played a clip from Mel Kiper talking about Bryce Young essentially not being in the right place for him as a young quarterback. And I wish Carey was here for me bringing this up, because Mel Kiper today said that 2 high safeties should be outlawed in the NFL.
Why?
It's ruining the game. 2 high safeties.
Well, it's taking the deep ball out of play.
So run the ball.
It kind of reminds me of the shift.
So run the ball. This is part of the issue. We're seeing scoring down across the league. We're having that conversation at some point today. Why is scoring down? One, these guys aren't playing in the preseason. So you're getting a lot of your real game reps in the first month of the season. That's number one. Number two, these quarterbacks are terrible in a red zone. Like we talk about Kirky Cousins there, even a veteran guy. He was terrible in the red zone until he threw that one on the dime to Drake London. So young quarterbacks are struggling in the red zone when everything gets congested, and so are the veteran quarterbacks. The offenses are off right now. But my God, really? You want to eliminate the too high safety look? You're supposed to run them out of that. Too high safeties means what? There's not a safety in the box. Run the damn ball. You're supposed to run them out of that look. So you want to take a strategy out of the game because you're disappointed because offenses are down the first 2 weeks? I'm sorry, that's sad to me. As somebody who watches a lot of football like Mel Kiper does, I'm shocked by that comment. I'm disgusted by it. No! Disgusted. I'm sure Carey would too.
It's a disgusting act.
It's a disgusting act. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Speaking of football, we got Thursday night football. 2 weeks in. Do we have any idea what the New York Football Jets are all about? And are the Patriots a lot better than what we thought, including myself, who said they'd only win 2 games? That's next on 101 ESPN. Thursday Night Football tonight. We got Jets and Patriots. Pregame at 6:30, kickoff at 7:15, and you can listen to it right here on 101 to ESPN. I'll just take the L right now. I thought the Patriots were going to win 2 games this year. They won the first game, and I'm not willing to roll the dice that they're only going to win, 1 more the rest of the season. They have looked good. That kind of Patriot way where they're scheming up for the specific opponent. They're playing, we would call it like a hard 9 under Tony La Russa. They're playing a hard 4 quarters. Like they look like a team that is not as talented as they have been in years past, which is why they'll still struggle to win maybe 6 or something games this year. But they also look like a team that that's going to be a nag to every opponent that they play, including tonight against the Jets. And I don't care who's the head coach and who's the quarterback. The New York Football Jets have had issues with the Patriots for about 2 decades now. So I expect this game to be close.
They also had to deal with a guy named Tom Brady.
They did for most of that time.
For most of those 2 decades.
Yeah. But the Patriots are much better than I thought coming into the season. It's not even close. I was wrong about that.
Yeah, it's kind of wild to, I've watched a bunch of their practice footage and stuff like that just to see just how different it is, because you've had 21 years of Bill Belichick, and you're trying to see now what Gerard Mayo's got going on with this team, and they're loosey-goosey. But then when they're time to do the drills, they're like after it.
Yes, they are.
It's like a pretty cool little combination of what they got going on, and they're playing hard. Like they really are. They come up with the win in week 1. Bit of a surprise, of course. Then last week playing right down into overtime, and they're not going to be a gimme this year.
They do have to play a certain way. They have to get it to the 4th quarter, because they're not going to. Jacoby Brissett is not going to throw the ball all over the yard with those receivers and try to and get back in the game. There will be times when the Patriots get destroyed. I guarantee it. But if they can do what they've done the last 2 weeks, which is keep it close, run the ball, time of possession, and get it to the 4th quarter, anything can happen. It's not unlike what Jeff Fisher used to do. And I know Jeff Fisher is a walking meme for us, but
he's popular here in St. Louis.
the man did get to the Super Bowl. The man did have, some success in Nashville with the Titans, because he was somebody that did believe in playing that complementary football, all 3 phases, get it to the 4th quarter, and who knows. So, Patriots are going to have some blowouts, and they're going to be in games, a lot more games than I thought they were going to be, and they're going to be kind of a thorn.
I wouldn't be shocked that this game is a lot closer than we think, because I really don't know what the Jets are. Yeah, they beat a bad Titans team, but they didn't look really that good against the 49ers. So I don't really know what this team is. Now, I have the Jets, spoiler alert. I'm picking the Jets tonight just because I feel like that's probably the safe play.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be shocked if the Patriots beat them, because I really don't know what the Jets are. They have really good players, but can they put it together for a full 60 minutes? I don't know.
So that's the question, right? So if you look at I think the Jets are the more intriguing side. I think we know what the Patriots are. The Patriots are now that I've seen them play the last 2 weeks. We kind of know we got a feel for what they are under Gerard Mayo. What are the Jets? Because I don't know, and I blame not Aaron Rodgers, believe it or not, because you guys know I'm very high on Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, it's your boy.
I'm not. I blame Robert Saleh.
Yeah.
I want to believe that Robert Saleh is a good coach. I liked him in San Francisco. I like the energy that he brought, that he does bring. He has looked completely overmatched as a coach. He's got a ton of skill. He's got a ton of talent on defense, which is why the Jets have been pretty good, at least in keeping teams in, keeping themselves in games. They do have Breece Hall, and they do have Garrett Wilson. But outside of that, offensively, you cannot rely on 2 guys. And that's seemingly what the Jets are trying to do on offense under Nathaniel Hackett, who is brutal as a head coach in Denver. Yeah. It is going to be, if Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson can make enough plays, we're going to be fine. But that's it. And Aaron Rodgers, I said this coming into the year, Aaron Rodgers was not good 2 years ago in his final year at Green Bay. And his backers will counter with, well, he was hurt. And he was hurt last year, so you can't really blame him. So you're telling me now that he has been hurt the last 2 times he has tried to play. He's an older guy. When he can move around the pocket, that's when the magic happens with Aaron Rodgers. He can't move anymore. Is that a product just of the Achilles injury? I don't think it is. I don't think he moves very well overall now. We've seen this with quarterbacks.
Yes.
He did have a great pass to Garrett Wilson last week.
He will put. How about the Alan Lazard pass on the false start, not the false start, but the offsides in Week 1 against the Niners? He still has a great arm talent.
He still has pockets of Aaron Rodgers, what we know Aaron Rodgers to be. But to your point, I don't think it's consistent enough to go a full season and believe that this team is a Super Bowl contender, let alone a playoff team.
Well, that's what happens when you get older. And that's what you see out of older athletes is they have pockets of where you see what they once were.
Right.
And then unfortunately what happens is those pockets get fewer and fewer every year that goes by.
Right.
And so Aaron Rodgers still has the ability. It's kind of like, I go back to like George Foreman when he won the heavyweight title again. You can see, man, he's still got the power. He's not out there moving around like the young guys are, but he's got the power. And if you let him hit you, you're going down. So it's the same as Aaron Rodgers. If you give him the time and you give him the ability to see that receiver, he's going to put it in there.
So I think what you just said kind of plays into what Thundercat in the Snake Pit just said. He goes, he's a gunslinger. He doesn't need to move. Think of old Brady. Brady had a killer offense, though. Thundercat's right in that last statement. I understand that he is a gunslinger, but he's not Brady. I mean, who is, right? Let's just start like full stop on that. But to what Thundercat says is think of old Brady. Brady had the knack of knowing exactly where he was going to go with the football. And he was so good at getting not to his second read, but his third and fourth read if he had the time. Aaron Rodgers isn't that way to me anymore. And I don't think Aaron Rodgers was ever on the same level as Brady in terms of reading a defense immediately and knowing if that first option is taken away post-snap, I know I can go to option 2 or option 3. When he moved well within the pocket, I think he was more dangerous that way. To me, I don't see that anymore out of Aaron Rodgers. So Brady was like, I'm going to get to the line. Pre-snap, I'm probably going to beat you. If I don't beat you pre-snap, I'm definitely going to beat you post-snap. And if you blitz me, you're done. And I don't think Rodgers is that way late in his career now.
This is probably an overreaction type question, but is this like a must-win for the Jets tonight?
100%.
I know it's week 3, but I kind of get that vibe that this is a must-win for this team.
I think Marsh, it's interesting. I hadn't thought about it. You phrased it really well, though. When you're a team like the Jets, and to me, you're fragile, and I'll throw my team in there so it's not like I'm picking on the Jets. The Falcons are a fragile team. They're not the Chiefs. They haven't done it before. They're not even the Ravens, who at 0-2 have problems, but you still you're well coached. You've got a 2-time MVP under center. You're going to be fine. You're going to figure it out, right? The Packers, with the infamous RELAX, relax. I could buy into that because it's Rodgers and you're good. The Jets are a fragile team. They need to almost prove to themselves that they can do it.
Right.
So I don't think you're going out. I don't think what you said is outlandish at all, Marsh. I think there are certain teams, the Jets, the Falcons, the Jaguars, if they ever decide to win again. If you go to the NFC, maybe even the Eagles fall into that category at this point. The Cowboys, you have to almost prove to yourself that we can win. We can win in these games now. We're at home. We're favored. We should win. We're good.
And I only say that because of the opponent, right? If they were playing a way better team, the expectations there, at least from the national media, is all right. Maybe they pick up a win, maybe they don't. We don't really expect them to win. But this is the Patriots,
right?
And it's a division team. You need to pick up a win here in order to, like you said, feel good about yourself. But also, you don't want people in New York, in Bristol, everywhere looking at you, and not only just you, looking at your quarterback,
right,
who is a very polarizing player, and having all these criticisms and all these question marks surrounding you, and we're only in week 3.
Right. I've called the Jets combustible. I've called them combustible since training camp. That's what they are. At any point, you're waiting for this thing just to implode. Maybe it will tonight. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. You got your picks in, boys?
Yes.
Before the show, I checked. BK and Carey did not have their picks in. I sent them a little text. Rattled the cage a little bit. BK said he got his in. Trust but verify. So we'll verify
Carey
that.
doesn't have his picks in yet?
Well, let's see here. I did text him.
This is where we should have put all the passwords in the office.
We should.
So that in time of crisis, or when Marsh wants to pick the Panthers, we can go in and change it.
Oh, come on.
That's a good idea. Again, trust but verify.
This does remind me of the time that Anthony went into, I believe, the studio. And not this studio, the other studio, changed his picks, but changed some other guys' picks.
No idea who it was. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. You're on somebody else's account. You didn't know it.
Didn't know it.
That was awesome. That poor bugger.
I logged in and I'm like,
no, but you picked the right team to win, but your own pick didn't hit, but that guy's pick did.
Yes.
Unreal.
I'm like, what happened here? Yeah, it wasn't my picks.
Do you remember the teams?
No.
Was it the Giants?
It was real early. It was like week 1.
I thought one of the teams was the Giants.
It may have been. I don't know.
Either way, funny story.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Let's go to this. I want to talk a little Blues here. This is an interesting question. Who could the Blues replicate this upcoming season? So we talked about which team the Blues could supplant in the postseason, but which team could they replicate in 2024? That's next on 101 ESPN.
I think that we just added experienced players, whether they were experienced like Suter or Fasca or experienced like Holloway, Broberg, Texia, younger experience. And, you know, when you're going through what we called a couple of years ago as a retrench, retool, whatever, you have to take time. But I do believe that, and we talked about it as a group, that, you know, it's time for us to talk a little less and do a little more. I think that, you know, we expect to be competitive with all teams in the league now. We don't have that younger group that we're concerned about, and you know, I have high expectations for this team.
All right, that was Doug Armstrong, Blues general manager and president of hockey operations. He was on with Randy Carricker, Dan McLaughlin, and Brooke Grimsley from the opening drive this morning. And that was Army on rebuilding and the expectations heading into this Blues preseason / regular season. Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Do you want to first respond to what Army said, or is that kind of basic expectations?
No, I mean, it is, but you can tell being around the guys and the staff and whatnot that they don't want to hear about rebuild, retool anymore. Like, the veteran players stomached it for a couple of seasons now. You know, the trading off pieces 2 years ago, and then last year being in this retool thing. Veteran guys don't want to hear that. Mm-hmm. They don't want to hear, okay, basically you're saying your team's not going to be good. And the guys like, one, we don't want to hear it. Two, we don't believe that to be true.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the, I don't say the theme, the attitude around the rink right now is that we're not a retool team. We're going to be challenging for a playoff spot. So from a mindset standpoint, I like that. And, you know, I think that comes from the top. I think that's Drew Bannister just basically said, guys, enough of this crap. Like, we're not in a retool anymore. Yeah. We're a team that's going to compete for a playoff spot.
All right, Jamie, we had the conversation last week about who the Blues could replace heading into the postseason. Like, what postseason team could the Blues replace this year? Yeah. And you gave us some suggestions. What if we phrase it this way? Which team could the Blues replicate? So, like, the Avalanche, not feasible because of what the Avalanche have, how they're constructed.
Well, not an identical situation.
No, either, exactly. So, when it comes to replicating this season, which team do you think the Blues can replicate from a year ago?
You know,
or maybe it's none.
No. I think that if you're looking, like, you know, Marshy, you had one in the office. I don't want to steal yours because, you know, you had your own thoughts on that. Mm-hmm. So go ahead.
I just thought maybe the Vancouver Canucks could be a team that the Blues could ultimately replicate. Now, I don't know if they'll be division leaders through a majority of the season and be at the top of the Central by any means, but I do look at that team, a team that missed the playoffs previously heading into last season. They have good coaching, and I just think that with that team, they have some solid goaltenders, some solid defensemen. Maybe they have a little bit more high-end skilled players than the Blues, so maybe that doesn't really compute, but I just look at where Vancouver went from to where they are now. I think maybe the Blues could essentially replicate that, but again, the players are a little different, but I hope that that's what it looks like.
Yeah, that'd be nice, and I totally understand the reasons as to why you would pick the Vancouver Canucks. I just don't. I think the bar is pretty high. If you said at the Canucks, like, that team came out of nowhere last year, and all of a sudden they were dominating the NHL. Like, right. So a lot of things went right for them last year. I'm anxious to see if the Canucks can repeat 109 points this upcoming season. We'll see. So two teams for me kind of popped onto the radar for two different reasons. One, the Detroit Red Wings. Now, they weren't a playoff team last year, but that's a team that has been ascending over the last couple of years. But they went through like a full rebuild kind of situation. And Stevie Yzerman's been able to plop in a couple of good veteran guys. Obviously, David Perron was there for a couple of years and did a great job. They loved him there. And he helped that team take some steps forward. So that's an interesting team for me, to where you're like, okay, they got a lot of young guys now. Blues are going to have a lot of young guys. But, you know, is it an exact comparable? Probably not. For me, the one that I circle back to is the LA Kings. The LA Kings 2 years ago were not good. Did not make the playoffs. They were going through this retool.
Yeah.
And they held on to some veteran players. So, like, Kopitar's still there. Doughty's still there. They got some veteran guys on that team, but they've filled in the gaps with younger players. And last year, some of those younger players took big steps. And, you know, that team finished in the playoffs at 99 points last year. Whereas 2 years before, they were out of the playoffs, and people were thinking the LA Kings are just going to tear it down. That's it. Trade off everything. Well, they didn't. They retooled their team. So I look at the LA Kings as a very good comparable for the Blues to kind of emulate what they did while incorporating young players into the roster, which the Blues have plenty of young players, but at the same time still keeping that good veteran core around at the same time to kind of help things along. So I think that's kind of a team that you could see.
And that was the team that you picked to be replaced by the Blues too. So
yeah,
is that what it is? Because they are essentially replicating what LA did, and we're just kind of assuming that LA is going to take a step back.
And they're very similar. The rosters are very similar. You've got a good blend of young players, good solid leadership, some elder statesmen. I think the LA Kings goaltending is weaker than the Blues. I think their blue line might be slightly better. But overall, this is like those are two teams that, on a crash course to run into each other for a playoff spot.
Yeah. All right. So also today on the opening drive, Randy Carricker, they always play take it or leave it, right? Mm-hmm. Well, Randy asked Army, take it or leave it. The Blues are a playoff team.
Oh, can't wait to hear this
season. Here's Army.
What I said to the players, we can't reach the goals that I have for our team if we don't make the playoffs. I have expectations.
All right, so he did not say take it. He also did not say leave it.
That sly old dog, Army.
It's basically, gentlemen, it's basically what Jamie Rivers often preaches, which is very smart, is very savvy. Do the press conference, do the interview. They can ask you whatever you want. You can answer whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
Are you a playoff team? We have high expectations for this team, and our expectations are we're going to put it all together. But you didn't really say it, but
no. But last year, Army kind of learned his lesson. I think last year when he said that he anticipated the team being third in the Central Division.
Yeah, that's a very specific goal.
And after that, like when they started off, they fire Craig Berube, like kind of. I don't know this to be true, but I know Army, and I'm sure he probably was regretting kind of putting that guarantee on the board. Not even though it wasn't a guarantee, he was just offering his own opinion on the situation.
Nothing wrong with that.
But you live and learn, and so now this year asked the very same question, just differently. Mm-hmm. He answered it in a different way.
Right.
What happens when you put it on the board and it doesn't work out?
From a team standpoint, you're disappointed.
Yeah.
Like from the player standpoint, you're disappointed. You're kind of embarrassed. You feel like you've let the organization down. You feel like you've let the fan base down. And it certainly doesn't feel good to have this goal or this expectation on the board, and you're sitting there hovering around, not last place because the Blues weren't last place last year, but you're hovering around the 5 to 6 points out of the playoffs for a majority of the season. That's tough.
Do you think if they don't make the playoffs, Matthew Rocchio, he asked us this question in the office, if the Blues are basically the same team, same spot as they were last year, are you disappointed in it? And I said, yeah. Just because, you're kind of stuck in neutral. You're not progressing. And we talked about the Cardinals in that sense. Yeah, the Cardinals had a disappointing season, but their record, from a record standpoint, they've improved. I'd like to see that out of the Blues this year because I do think their roster is much better than last season.
Yeah, I look at the 92-point total, which was pretty darn impressive for a team that's supposed to be doing a retool. Getting above 90 points is a good job. I think this team has to be 95 to 100 points. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't say they have to be. I predict that they will be a 95 to 100 point team, which will mean, small steps forward. Mm-hmm. Will that be enough to get them into a playoff spot? One would think it would be, but you never know.
All right, hey, tomorrow we will be at the Anheuser-Busch Brewery. You can join us for Blues and Brews this Friday evening at Anheuser-Busch Brewery. Get fired up for the blues season at this outdoor street party. It features live music from country music star Matt Stell and from the Charles Glenn Band. The appearances will be made by Braden Shen and Jake Neighbors, Pavel Buchnevich, Drew Bannister, and other blues players. Tickets are now on sale. Blues and Brews, refreshed by Bud Light and 101 ESPN. Find all the details now at 101ESPN.com. Hope to see you there this Friday. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Let's play Hot Take or Hot Garbage. If you got a hot take or hot garbage, send it in. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. Again, we've got Hot Take or Hot Garbage next. play Hot Take or Hot Garbage here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line with Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. No Carey Davis today. Carey is traveling to Lincoln for the Illinois-Nebraska game tomorrow night. We told Carey to get his picks in. He sent us his picks. We said, okay, that's great for like bet the board and beat the streak and all that. We're like, that's fantastic. Carey, get your picks in. And then he goes, you don't see them? And we said, yeah, no, we don't see the picks. So he sent them again.
Sends them again to like 2 different numbers.
Finally, Jamie realized, no, Carey, your NFL Pick'em Challenge picks. Refresh by Bud Light. Fastlane, Rizzuto. The ones you get shot for, Carey. Get your damn pick in. So hopefully, fingers crossed, Carey got the message this time.
What did he reply with?
He said, oh,
blank.
Yeah.
Oh, ish.
Spit.
LOL.
There you go.
Yep.
All right, I like this one to start off Hot Take or Hot Garbage from the 314. Hot Take or Hot Garbage, we will see 2 SEC teams in college for the college football championship game.
2 SEC teams? Boy, it certainly sets up that way. Yeah, I think that's a hot take. Based on the fact that
that's a hot take.
Six SEC teams that are currently ranked in the top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hot take all day, every day.
Texas looks phenomenal. Georgia struggled with Kentucky last week, but we know that Georgia's stock full of talent. Ohio State, from a talent standpoint, okay, check. But Ohio State has yet to kind of get over that hump from a national championship program under Ryan Day. I know they were in previous iterations, but under Ryan Day, they have not gotten over that hump. Really good team, explosive, fun, all that. But then you see them going to Ann Arbor, or they welcome them to Michigan to the shoe, and things go sideways.
Do you think that this year we could see 2 teams in the national championship game that we have not seen in the 21st century?
2 teams in the national championship game that have not ever played
in the playoff,
in the playoff or national championship.
In the 20, I'm counting
since
BCS
2000.
Since 2000.
Yeah.
Tennessee comes to mind.
To Tennessee.
They're a hell of a football team right now.
Yeah.
Ole Miss.
I'm gonna say no for the fun of it.
So we're just gonna get Georgia, Bama in the final or something like that? Georgia, Ohio State.
Yeah.
Now
I don't like your game at all.
I know you don't, but here's the thing.
You know what though? Another team that hasn't been in the mix lately, but they are.
Miami.
Yes.
I knew exactly where you're going.
But that doesn't. They played in the national championship in the 21st century. But
yes.
Technically, you're right.
One of the greatest college football teams ever assembled. Yeah. If you look at that, I think it was the 2000 Miami squad or 2001 Miami team.
They had a ton of NFL Hall of Famers.
Ed Reed. I'm going to blow this, but I'll look it up.
They had Sean
Taylor.
Sean Taylor.
Yep. Let's see here. Andre Johnson, Santana Moss. Ken Dorsey was their quarterback, and Ken Dorsey wasn't anything special in the NFL, but he's a really good college coach and now an offensive coordinator. Clinton Portis was on that team.
Greg Olson.
Jeremy Shockey was the tight end. Greg Olson may have been...
Shockey. He was a Miami guy.
He was a Miami guy.
And I only know
Reggie
that.
Wayne.
Yeah.
The receivers. Listen to the receivers from this 2000 Miami Hurricanes team. Andre Johnson, Santana Moss, and Reggie Wayne with Jeremy Shockey as the tight end. Get right out of here. Dan Morgan, linebacker. Ed Reed, safety. William Joseph had a decent career in the NFL. I thought there was more.
We're getting Willis McGahee, Frank Gore.
Willis McGahee was the running back. Yep. Unbelievable. Oh, Greg Schiano was the defensive coordinator. I didn't realize that. Anyways, yeah, I could see Miami doing it. But the reason why I said that is we always like to jump on the new thing. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, whatever the new team is, this is exciting. Oh, look at these guys. And then in the end, you get the same staple teams, and you're like, damn it, I knew it. I know I shouldn't bought into you.
I'm actually pulling for
Tennessee.
Miami. I want to see Miami do well because they are a college football powerhouse in terms of history, but we haven't seen it in the modern day college football. So to get a team like that back in the mix, I think it's huge for college football.
Yes.
You want to see those teams.
I completely agree.
We're getting more players coming through. You just named like the offense. We barely even touched on the defense.
All right, so the defense, here's the 2001. It was actually 2001 because that was the team that went unbeaten. Antrell Roll, Ed Reed, Sean Taylor, like you mentioned. Philip Buchanan was, I think, a first-rounder with the Raiders
Isn't
at
that a
cornerback.
president?
Philip Buchanan. Oh, Jonathan Vilma. Linebacker. Jonathan Vilma is one of my favorite linebackers ever. Vince Wilfork, your guy with the Patriots.
Willie.
Yeah, William Joseph. Man. Just absolutely stinking loaded. I'm sure I'm missing more guys. Go ahead, Marsh.
All right, let's go to Jigsaw. And this is along the same lines as this college football question that we just had about seeing a new team. But Jigsaw says, hot take or hot garbage, I believe this upcoming Super Bowl will consist of teams that do not include the Chiefs, Ravens, 49ers, and Eagles.
Similar question, right? Similar question to the one we just had. I think we tend to do this early in the NFL season, and we're going to do it again. We're going to fall into the trap. We're going to look at some of these teams, and because they caught their opponents at the right time early on, they look way better than we thought. Do we think that the Baltimore, and I'm not criticizing this texture because I do it too. I sit there on a Sunday, I go, how did I miss the Saints? And at some point this year, Derek Carr is going to turn into Derek Carr, and the Saints are going to be, a 9-win team or so, which would be a solid season considering Dennis Gates. We all had him being fired midway through the year. Like, if the Saints are a 9 or 10-win team, huge success. Mm-hmm. But are you telling me that Derek Carr, who is now leading Bury the Bodies, by the way, we're making a change at quarterback.
Really?
Yeah. We're going to ride the hot guy, Jamie.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Tell me Derek Carr won't turn into Derek Carr again at some point?
So that's funny you bring that up, and you should pull up his stats. And this is something that I saw on the old Twitter sphere, TikTok, probably where it originated. But Derek Carr, if you look up his stats on election years, it's some of his best seasons ever.
He's a big politics guy.
Best season, like 2016, 2020, some of his best seasons, like low interceptions, some of his best like QBR ratings. So in election years, Derek Carr has some of his best years in the NFL. And obviously this year's an election year.
That's crazy. By the way, John from the Snake Pit. Did I say Dennis Gates?
You did.
Yeah. Dennis Allen, I meant.
Yeah.
I don't think Dennis Gates would be.
I was like,
basketball coach?
Yeah.
He's on a roll.
That's my bad. Dennis Allen. Yeah. Sorry, John. And listeners everywhere. Thank you, John. But anyways, we're going to see the same teams. The ones that are well coached and that are built to win in the playoffs. We're not going to see some of these hotter teams that come out of the gates in September and we're all jumping on their bandwagon.
What about
At some
Houston?
point, somebody's going to catch up. I think Houston's legit. Mm-hmm. I think Houston's well coached. I don't think last year was a fluke. I think Houston last year, maybe they were a season ahead, but the Houston Texans are legit. Mm-hmm. Even if they lose to your Minnesota Vikings this weekend.
I hope so.
That's still a team that you could say, okay, that you've got talent on both sides of the ball. You are built to win in the postseason. See if Joe Mixon can stay healthy because they're going to need to run the ball. But
I wonder if Houston is kind of in the same line as what Jamie's Detroit Lions were. Like, they came up the year before, and you're like, oh, man, like, these guys look pretty good. I know the Lions didn't make the playoffs that season, and then they went to the NFC Championship game last year. Mm-hmm. But I wonder if Houston's somewhat on that same trajectory.
Yeah.
Like, maybe they're an AFC Championship-type team this year, and I wouldn't be surprised by it.
Right.
So, all right, let's go to Hockey Bob here. Hot take or hot garbage. The Blues are better today than they were at any time last season and will make the playoffs in 24-25. They're both more physical and faster right now than they were at any time last season.
Yeah. Have they played a game yet? Have the Blues played a game yet?
in their minds, they
No, I'm just asking. Have they played a game?
A real game
that I missed?
No.
That's pretty hard to determine all of what Hockey Bob just said.
Okay.
I'll say hot take because I do believe in what he says or what Hockey Bob just said. But for me personally, I never, ever have an opinion until I see the product. I don't mean in one game. I mean like a 10-game span to start the season. Like, what does it look like? And then I'll cross-reference it to what they had last year as far as numbers and, some of the players, their shot opportunities, like the higher scoring chances, all that. And that'll tell me if they're heading in the right direction.
All right.
It's a little premature to say that they're already better since they haven't even played a game yet.
Yeah, not that fun, but okay.
I apologize. I'm a serious guy, Anthony.
You are a serious guy.
Nothing but serious, and I take that very seriously.
Fair enough. Yeah, I like
Seriously,
how you said
that's
that.
true.
Seriously.
Yep. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. How do the Cardinals get better in 2025? Greg Amsinger joined the opening drive today. Had some thoughts. We'll dive into those next on 101 ESPN.
If you are about to sell your home or thinking about to sell your home, call Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty. Because when it comes to getting the job done right and having a reliable, trusted agent, Gloria Lou is that person. Gloria is also able to guarantee the sale of your home in writing because Gloria already has the buyers. Thousands of ready buyers. Gloria has over 20 years of buyers in her database looking to buy in your neighborhood or maybe in your price range. This is how Gloria gets you the most money and creates the highest demand so many times for your home. And all that traffic hopefully creates those multiple offers, which means more money in your pocket. Gloria Lou's just not your average agent. She is St. Louis's local real estate authority. Again, 20 years of experience, hundreds of homes sold in just the past 12 months, and the only agent I would trust to sell my home. All you have to do for all that great service is give her a call. Tell her Jamie Rivers sent you in. Again, that's Gloria Lou at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or you can always visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals pick up a victory last night over the Pittsburgh Pirates at 10-5 final. They'll go for the sweep tonight. Eric Fetty on the mound going up against Luis Ortiz. First pitch is at 6:15. We'll have Thursday night football for you right here on 101 ESPN. It's the New York Jets taking on the New England Patriots. Pregame for that one starts at 6:30. If you missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll find all of our full shows there, and it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. How do the Cardinals get better in 2025? We'll discuss that next, right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Greg Amsinger joined the opening drive today. We always like to play some audio from the MLB Network host.
Yeah, Anthony, you in particular really enjoy Greg, so I'm anxious to hear this.
Greg's instant offense, man. He's always energetic. He bleeds red, Cardinal red, and he always says something that makes me say, Now, sometimes I don't like it at all. Like when he blames the fan base. And I have to say, not up in here, you know?
Not going to do that.
Not going to do that.
No.
Sometimes I want to look at Greg and I want to say to him, you know, I know what you're doing right now, and I don't like it. But sometimes I want to cheer the guy.
Really? I've yet to see that one.
Well, maybe it's today.
You never know.
So here's Greg on the how the Cardinals can improve for 2025. How can they get better in 2025?
I think a commitment to the core. And when I look at the teams that thrive, they commit to the core. The guys that play every single day, and those are the guys that bring them out of the doldrums of mediocrity. And Jordan Walker plays every day. If he's 197 a year from now, then okay, it didn't seem to work, right? You're going to let Mason win. He played every day. He proved that the idea can work. Ivan Herrera plays every day. If he wants to catch as much as possible, he's your starting catcher going forward. That's your guy. Okay, I believe Victor Scott should be the center fielder for the St. Louis Cardinals. I truly believe that. I like Michael Ciani a lot, but I think Victor Scott's got a higher upside. I think he's an incredible defender. I know Ciani is as well, but Ciani's not going to ever steal you 90 bags. Victor Scott's got that in his bag. We can see if he can't steal first base, but I would like to see him play every day. There are certain guys that they just got to commit to. They're the core, and this is what we're going with. I like the veteran idea in the rotation. The bullpen had a terrific year. The back end of that pen with Kittredge, Romero, and Helsley was awesome. But I think it's a commitment to the new position player core of the St. Louis Cardinals. Does Luken Baker fall into that? Maybe he does. If he does, commit to it. But this ongoing AAU tryout of whoever's hot is going to play. This kid's going to not get at bats. We're going to send him down to the minor leagues, and it feels like an ongoing tryout for position players during the season. It doesn't work in Major League Baseball. There is a commitment that winning teams make young players that grind every day. And if you don't do that, what I've seen over the years, these guys, it becomes mental.
I actually agree with what Greg said. We've talked about committing to what?
Marshy, can you write down the date and time, please?
9/19/24.
Yep.
Anthony agrees
with Greg.
With Greg and Singer. Got it.
Yeah. First time ever. Put that there.
Well,
okay, Anthony, as you were.
In my defense, I've also
no need to defend yourself.
I've also
You're
agreed.
quite fine.
It's America. I've also agreed when he's stolen my takes.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as you're saying,
kind of stole my take here.
Well, you were agreeing with him. So when you agree with him, means he stole your take.
Come on, Jamie, right? Wasn't I saying this in the off season? They have to commit. They have to commit to.
I don't know if it was the off
lineup.
season, but it was a long time ago.
Commit to a lineup
Oh, actually, you know what? I take it back. You have said it since last baseball season.
COVID high five.
Yeah, COVID high five. Yep. I do agree.
Right?
With what you're saying. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And
we also stole your take.
Which one was that?
The youth movement.
Well,
you got to commit to a youth
Greg's
movement.
an avid listener. He knows.
In all seriousness, I agree with what he's saying. He's right. Winning teams have a winning formula because they, one, select the right players to construct a winning product, right? And they commit to it. And they commit to the youth that needs the runway. The Cardinals at times are like, he's right. It's like they get this yo-yo effect. Not with Memphis. It's Memphis and the big leagues.
Yeah.
Did you strike out today? We're going to have to sit you. You'll figure it out. These guys need reps. They need to fail. Provided, of course, that they're ready for the big leagues. I get that Nolan Gorman had 300 and something at-bats. I do. I understand that. Do you not know what Nolan Gorman is? Because to me, it's pretty clear. He's an eighth hitter. He's going to run into 30, 25 to 30 if he's got the ABs, and he's going to strike out about 6 million times. That's who he is. Mm-hmm. And if he runs into some at 8 and he strikes out a bunch at 8, you can live with it. But I think the Cardinals view it as, boy, if he's not a cleanup hitter, man, we got to do some more work. Do they recognize what a player is, or do they struggle with it? And that is why we see players in and out of the lineup consistently.
It's almost like they're insecure with their player evaluation.
Great point.
I look at a front office that their evaluators seem insecure, almost to the point where they're like, well, we really believe in this guy. Then, like 3 games later, he's batting at 117. We're like, oh, okay, we got to sit him down.
Right.
All right, let's bring another guy because we can't possibly look like we don't know what we're talking about.
Right.
So instead of helping or fixing the problem, let's just make it go away.
Let's hit the panic button and let's eject. Let's eject. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, and I agree that the Cardinals, and we've been saying it now, like the young lineup, let them go.
Right.
Just let them go. If you want to platoon a guy here and there, like it happens, Jordan Walker's not going to play. What'd you say?
Let's Elsa this thing.
Oh, yeah. Let it go. Yeah, I got you.
Let it go. Let it go.
What other song do we remember from that movie? Because
Do you want to build a snowman?
Do you want to build a snowman?
And as Deadpool pointed out in Deadpool 2, it sounds awfully like Papa, Can You Hear Me?
Yeah, Barbra Streisand. Yeah.
Papa, can you hear me?
Yeah.
It's the same tune.
It's the same song.
Yeah.
Anyways. Yep.
Yeah, well, we've been talking about the young lineup, just rolling them out there. And if you want to if you want to give a guy a night off here and there, it's normal. Like if Jordan Walker, 1 every 10 games, sits on the bench, that's fine. Mm-hmm. What organizations, I think, don't realize, and this sometimes gets confused by fans, by coaches, by media members, it doesn't make a player mentally weak when you're screwing with their confidence all the time. That makes you irresponsible with that player's confidence.
Great point.
Mm-hmm. Because I can't tell you how many great young players I've seen in the game, and every time they make a bad pass, they sit. And then guess what happens?
Yeah, the confidence gets low. They don't want to pass again.
They don't want the puck.
Yeah.
Or then they're afraid to make the plays that made them what they were. They're afraid to be the player that you drafted because every time they fail, you sit them on the bench or in the press box or you send them down.
Yeah.
Baseball players are no different. From what we understand, hitting a baseball might be one of the hardest things to do in all of sports. If that's the case, then shouldn't you ride it out a little bit? Mm-hmm. Work with the kid, let them figure things out a little bit, instead of just kicking them right in the bells. And then the guy's like, well, I'm chasing everything now. And that's what happened to Jordan Walker. He wanted to hit the ball so bad that he just started chasing pitches that were way out of the strike zone. The other pitchers were like, okay, watch this. Let's see how far away I can pitch it, and he'll swing anyways.
Yeah.
Nolan Gorman, I think he's also a part of that too. I think that he feels like he has to hit the home run every single time because he's a left-handed bat with power. No, just hit the ball. Because of your power and your strength, you're good. You're still going to get your home runs.
Yep.
But Nolan Gorman, to me, looks like that guy that is terrified to fail. And when he does that, his at-bats look uncomfortable and weird. Just like Jordan Walker losing balance in the batter's box at the start of the season because he was so uncomfortable and unconfident. So I think the Cardinals, for that reason alone, need to let these players do what they do and let them figure it out. Because when you keep messing with them, you're not doing it intentionally, but you're pulling away pieces of their game every single time you do it, to where they're going to be left with a player that you don't like anymore. And you're going to be like, well, how'd we get here?
Right.
And then that player's going to get traded, and somebody else is going to start putting the pieces back together and helping that player. And now you have Randy Arozarena, you have Tyler O'Neill, you have, like, pick your former Cardinal that all of a sudden does better.
Well said. Couldn't agree more. All right, that's Jamie Rivers. It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Why is the offense down in the NFL through 2 weeks? Is this a trend that will continue? We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN.
If you're looking to save money on your car and home insurance, Allstate and the Bibb Agency, they've got some of the most competitive rates. And with the Bibb Agency, you're going to get that personal attention from your agent that most companies don't give you. And the reason they don't give you the personal attention that you deserve is because they're a 1-800 number. You're talking to somebody who doesn't even live in the area, may not even understand what the going rates are in the state that you live in. And so every time you call there, you have to try and remind them of what your policies are and what that's their job. So the Bibb Agency, they do a fantastic job of, when you call them, they get to know you, you become part of the Bibb family over there, and they always fighting for those competitive rates, but it's the coverage that matters. Because if you're not covered properly and something happens, that's when you have big financial problems, and it can ruin a family. I've seen it happen, and the Bibb Agency does not let that happen to you. They've got your back, and they truly care about you and your family, which is why I have been a customer for over 4 years now, and I want you to do the same. So get your free non-committal quote today. Call Tracy at 314-328-4260. Again, that's 314-328-4260. It's no fib. You're in good hands with Tracy Bibb.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We had this conversation a little bit. We touched upon this a little bit throughout the last couple of days because now everybody's making a big deal of it. It's like, 2 weeks in the NFL, scoring's down, hit the panic button. Everybody jump right out the window with their takes, including it was Mel Kiper, right?
Yeah, to get rid of the double safeties.
Yeah, the too high safety look. Are you Fastlane kidding me with that take? Now I realize I'm the guy that called Dennis Allen Dennis Gates earlier. Okay, I realize I'm that guy. But let's look at a couple of truths here. It's 2 weeks in. None of these teams, or most of the players on each team, had any sort of preseason because none of the key players are playing preseason games. Hell, even some rookies and young players aren't playing in these preseason games. It's going to take a minute before offenses tick back up. I do think that defenses have caught up to some degree, but the league is still suited for offense. It's still suited for scoring. That's what the NFL wants. When it comes to, though, why scoring is down, if you look at the red zone plays and the deep shots, the red zone quarterbacking has been dreadful this season. And offenses are trying to spread you out, go short game, and they're not taking the deep shots.
Is that because teams are playing two safeties?
If they are consistently playing two safeties, you should run the football.
Yeah, but let's say it's a team that wants to it's a pass-first mentality.
Yeah.
So what happens then is the routes are going to be shorter. You're looking for that 5-6 yard dump pass rather than trying to take the top off the defense.
So this is what happened to the Chiefs. Everybody started playing the too high look. Like the Bengals were the first ones to say.
Well, that was because they had Tyreek.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The Bengals were the first one to give the Chiefs some issues. Lou Anarumo, the defense coordinator for Cincinnati, said, okay, you don't run the ball. We know Mahomes wants to take the top off every time he's got Tyreek. We're just going to play two safeties. And it took a while. If you remember a couple years ago when the Chiefs were sputtering a little bit, we had the conversation. I said, he's got to run the ball. If you come to the line and it's two safeties, that means that you don't have an extra defender in the box. Defenses are lighter now. They're lighter because you want those linebackers. It's not like when you and I were watching the football in the 90s when you had those just behemoth linebackers that'll take your head off. These guys can run, but they're undersized. So if you don't run the ball and get them out of that too high look, then you should have a lot of success. Look at what happened with the Eagles and the Falcons on Monday night. Saquon Barkley was ripping off 7-8 yards. Bijan Robinson, same deal. And both teams stuck with it. But the scoring was down. Then those teams started to creep up the safeties a little bit, and that's when you saw some of the deep shots come about. This is just how it is in football. A lot more teams going for it on fourth down now, too. If you're missing on fourth down, you're not kicking the field goal. You're not scoring touchdowns. That's essentially a turnover. So I think that this is a trend that will eventually work itself out, and we will see some of these offenses get in a rhythm. But for now, you got a lot of young quarterbacks and a lot of young quarterbacks who came from systems in college that spread you out and do, I don't want to call it the dink and dunk, but a lot of it's short passing. Get the ball out quickly and go.
Do you think it could be attributed to that? You mentioned the young quarterbacks, but there are a lot of quarterbacks playing on brand new teams, too.
Absolutely.
Like Jacoby Brissett's back in New England, but they're not running the same offense that he was running the last time he was there.
Right.
Go around the league. Obviously Aaron Rodgers didn't play last year. He's playing this year.
Right.
It's not a new system, but it's the first time he's playing it.
It's going to take time for him to get on the same page as Wilson.
The Dolphins, they don't have Tua now, so that's going to look different.
Yep.
The Steelers have two mediocre quarterbacks.
Right.
So
and an offensive coordinator that doesn't have a really good passing, like a strong passing game. He can call up the run. There's no doubt about it. But Arthur Smith's passing game is atrocious.
Deshaun Watson, he's he was injured last year too, and all that. So he's relatively new again. You just go down the list, even in Indianapolis. Anthony Richardson was hurt most of the season last year, so he's got to be reintroduced to the offense there. Tennessee Titans, we see what that looks like. Mm-hmm. But just Gardner Minshew with the Raiders, the Broncos, that's just the AFC, and I just went all new quarterbacks in a new home.
Right.
Does that have something to do with it?
Oh yeah, because you're talking about quarterbacks that aren't on the same page as their receivers yet. There's only so much you can do in essentially what's 7-on-7 in training camp. And if you don't play in the preseason, you're not getting those reps. So therefore, you're not on the same page again. It'll come back around. Like the offenses will start to open up.
How many weeks do you think it takes for a team to get comfortable with their offense?
I think mid-October.
I mean, a team that has a new quarterback-ish type thing.
Yeah, if you're Mahomes and the Chiefs,
you're Jared
it's different.
Goff, you're Mahomes,
yes, that's different.
Like you're Josh Allen. But if you look at those teams, they're kind of firing pretty good already. Like their offenses aren't terrible.
I thought the Lions looked really good in week 1. I thought they sputtered a little bit in week 2.
That wasn't great. Yeah.
Todd Bowles, strong defensive coordinator. They'll give you some issues. So you ask like new quarterbacks or new offensive systems. I think mid-October. Do you think it's going to take 4 or 5 games?
You think the penalties have anything to do with that?
Yes.
And keeping or preventing the teams from starting their drives, first and 10.
Yes.
It seems like they're behind the 8 ball now and they're trying to catch up.
You're absolutely right, Marsh. Penalties are up. Offensive penalties are up.
Mm-hmm.
You got more procedural problems if you're offsides, or they're calling that new rule a lot where you got to the end tackle has got to be up basically with the center.
Mm-hmm.
That if I'm an offensive coordinator and I'm starting 1st and 15, I'm likely throwing the ball. And analytics suggest, right, because it's got all the analytic waves, you throw the ball earlier on downs and then run it for a first down. Well, if everybody's carbon copy now, I'm going to throw. You're 1st and 15. You're 1st and 20.
Mm-hmm.
You're behind the 8 ball, like you're saying. So if they start to cut down more on the penalties, the NFL starts to cut into that a little bit more, I think, again, we'll see scoring go up.
I'd like to see a lot more screens. I'm a big fan of the screen. And Tom Brady was a master at doing that.
Yeah. The screen, absolutely.
I love a good screen.
Are we to the Gauntlet already?
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
It's almost 4 o'clock.
Yeah, you having fun?
I'm having a great time.
You talking foosball? You talking a little blues hockey? Cardinals on a
baseball.
roll. Cardinals rolling right now. All of a sudden, you look up. It's 4 o'clock. It's time for the Gauntlet. Now, do we have a Gauntlet contestant, Marsh?
We do. We don't know if he's a good guy, nice guy, but his name is Matt, and we'll have him on next.
All right. Well, there you go. Matt will challenge one of us next in the Gauntlet on 101 ESPN.
answers, 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you survive the Gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Call 314-920-5713 now for a free inspection.
All right, time for the Gauntlet here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. 4 o'clock, your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler, with Jamie Rivers. No Carey Davis today. Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. We welcome in Matt. What's up, Matt?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing great, Matt. First time?
No, I beat Brad once and then lost to Jamie, but it was a long time ago.
Okay. Now, revenge spot for you, Matt?
That's what I was thinking, but Marsh said good luck, and I said you too. So I think I got to pick Marsh.
Wow, Marsh is hot, too. You're going to take on Marsh today. All right, I like it.
That was funny because we were on the phone beforehand, and he did say, good luck to you, too. But I didn't know if it was one of those things like if you go to the movies or you go to the, the airport. And
Enjoy your show.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, you too. And I didn't know if it was one of those things. So
That's what it was, but we'll just go with it.
You guys ever have those moments where like you're kind of thinking about something else and you see somebody, you're like, hey, how you doing? And they go, oh, I'm good. How are you? And then you go, oh, I'm good. How are you?
I've done that.
So, yeah.
And like right back again. And you're like, yeah, I'm an idiot. I'm sorry.
The person just looks at you and they're like, oh, yeah. Oh, good.
I just told you.
Like, what's wrong with you?
Just made it awkward.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. You know what I do, though?
What?
When somebody does that and they're like, yeah, how are you? I'm like, hey, man. Not great, actually. I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you asked the second
time.
time.
Have you got? I got some stuff going on.
Glad you asked me again, honestly. You sit down.
That's the last time they ask you.
That's right. All right, Matt, go ahead and tell Marsh to spin the wheel.
Spin that wheel, Marshy.
All right, Marsh, get the hell out of here. What are you hoping for, Matt?
I don't know. I don't really care. Random kind of sounds fun today.
Okay, all right.
Well, it will not be random. It's football.
Well, football's been, the wheel's been hot on some foosball lately.
It has been.
All right, Matt, you already know the rules, but for those that don't, Matt's going to get 4 football-related questions today. Marsh is going to get the same 4 football questions. Each question is worth 2 points, unless Marsh or Matt ask for the options. Are you ready, Matt?
I'm ready.
All right. Which SEC quarterback through 3 weeks leads all of college football in passing yards?
Options, please.
Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroe, or Carson Beck?
Let's go with Jackson Dart.
Final answer?
Final answer.
All right, Matt, question 2. Blake Craig, kicker from Mizzou, currently leads all college football along with 3 other kickers with how many field goals made?
Oh, okay, let's see. Let's see, he had 2 or 3 the first week. He missed 2 the second week, but I think he made 1. Yeah, I'm going to go with, let's go with 6.
Final answer?
Final answer. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, question 3, Matt. Which team put up the fewest points in the NFL in week 2?
Options, please.
The Denver Broncos, the Carolina Panthers, or the Los Angeles Rams?
Let's go with the Panthers. Final answer.
Okay.
All right, Matt, last question. Tua Tagovailoa's brother, Tolia, transferred from which college to play the majority of his college football career at Maryland? So where did he transfer from?
Oh, man. I feel like he was at, Wisconsin or Indiana, but I'm not sure 100%. But let's just take a shot and say Wisconsin. Final answer.
All right.
Let's bring back Marsh from the cone of silence. Matt, how you feeling?
Not great.
Okay. Well, sorry about that. Let's see how Marsh does. He is back in the room, getting his headphones on. He's ready to go.
I'm ready.
Marsh, how you feeling?
I feel good. I dropped my water cap, though, on the ground. I had to go wipe it off.
Oh.
It's kind of gross.
I'm sorry to hear about that. Yeah.
You didn't do it the old 2-3 second rule?
No, I don't really believe in that.
Hammer it back on there?
I don't believe in that.
Really?
No.
Kind of live by that with the kids.
Kind of a germaphobe, to be honest.
Really? Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Not like on a scale of like,
Howie Mandel.
Yeah, I ain't that high, but,
okay. All right. Fair enough.
If you work out, you get there.
Yeah. Marsh?
Yeah.
Your category is football.
Okay.
Focus, would you?
I'm sure you make it difficult.
Pack a lunch, buddy.
Question 1. Which SEC quarterback through 3 weeks leads all of college football in passing yards?
Jackson Dart. I think it's his first name. From Ole Miss. Final answer.
Question 2. Blake Craig, the kicker from Mizzou, currently leads all of college football along with 3 other kickers with how many field goals made?
Jeez. Options.
6, 7, or 8?
Trying to think of like the final scores of the games. They're eluding me though. Let's go with 7. Final answer.
Marsh, which team put up the fewest points in the NFL in week 2?
Fewest points, you say? Ooh, good question. Again, I'm trying to go through the games here. Man, I want to say it was the Indianapolis Colts. Let's use the options, though.
Denver Broncos, Carolina Panthers, Los Angeles Rams.
What was the score of that Panthers game? Yeah, I feel like the Panthers are almost too obvious, though, right? You know what? I picked the Panthers once in something completely different, but I'll pick them again. Give me the Panthers. Final answer.
All right, last question. Tua Tagovailoa's brother, Tolia, transferred from which college to play the majority of his college football career at Maryland?
Oh, damn it.
So where did he transfer from?
Transfer from to play at Maryland.
I think it's Talia. I should help you with
Talia?
that. Yeah, I think it's Talia.
It really doesn't matter. Tua's brother. How about that? Okay?
I'm just trying to help. I realize
Tell me in the break, okay?
I always thought he always played at Maryland. That's not good.
You know, earlier today I called Dennis Allen Dennis Gates.
Yeah.
And you let the snake pit eat me alive.
Yeah, I let it go because I didn't want to embarrass you.
Well, now I'm embarrassed.
Now so am I.
Where does that leave us?
That's where we're at right now.
Are you two done bickering?
No, probably not.
Okay, let's use the options.
All right, was it Alabama, Oklahoma, or Texas A&M?
Alabama, Oklahoma, Texas A&M. Give me Texas A&M. Final answer.
All right. Let's go over these, shall we?
Here we go.
And here we go. All right, let's start right there. Tua Tagovailoa's brother, Talia, transferred from which college to play the majority of his college football career at Maryland? Matt, without the options, you said Wisconsin. You took your shot. Unfortunately, we know from Marsh's asking for the options that Wisconsin was not an option. Marsh, you wound up with Texas A&M as your selection. Correct answer is
Alabama.
Alabama.
Really?
Yeah, he was there with his brother. So 0-0 tie thus far between Matt and Marsh. Which team put up the fewest points in the NFL in week 2? Matt, you said the Panthers. Marsh, you said the Panthers. Pretty terrible team. Correct answer is?
Yeah, they're really bad, the Panthers.
The Panthers was the correct answer. They only scored 3 points in their loss this weekend.
But
Both of you needed the options.
Okay, good.
We have a 1-1 tie.
Marshy was so
You
mad
guys
at
are setting
himself.
that up. I know how you are.
That's rude.
Seriously, a little bit presumptuous, but go ahead.
Which SEC quarterback through 3 weeks leads all of college football in passing yards? Marsh, you said Jackson Dart. Matt, you said Jackson Dart. Correct answer is
The old Darty.
That's
Jackson
right.
Dart.
Old Darty. But Marsh didn't need the options.
Neither did Matt.
No, Matt did. Matt asked for the options.
Did he?
Yeah.
All right.
Matt, you asked for the options.
We can just forget about asking if you want.
You asked for the options. Yeah.
I didn't have it written down. I like your honesty, though, Matt.
Absolutely. Ish.
Yeah, he wasn't going to say anything.
He didn't confirm or deny.
He's not lying. He'd be like, well, you never asked me.
Take it or leave it. Playoff team.
Yep. So Marsh has a 1-point lead. It comes down to this. Blake Craig, kicker for Mizzou, currently leads all of college football along with 3 other kickers with how many field goals made? Marsh, without the options, said 7. Matt, without the options, said 6. Your options were 6, 7, and 8. If it's 6, Matt wins. If it's 7, Marsh wins. If it's 8, Marsh wins. Now, Marsh, you look confused. You're up by 1 right now.
You said he did not use...
He did not use the options.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah.
So
if it's 6...
Pardon my face.
2 points, Matt wins. If it's 7 or 8, Marsh wins. So, Jamie, tell us, how many FGs has Blake Craig made this season for your Missouri Tigers?
8.
Matt.
You have chosen poorly.
You lose.
Not today.
Matt, clearly a nice guy. That was just confirmed because Marsh only beats nice guys.
Well, and I think that was the case when he didn't really, say anything about the 2-pointer.
Right. Yeah.
I think that was all the confirmation that we needed that he was a good sport.
Absolutely.
Great sportsmanship.
And unfortunately, that's why he's going home today.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Matt. Yeah, sorry, buddy.
That reminds me of the kid who the basketball hit off his finger and it went out of bounds, and then he goes, "Hey, coach, man, like that hit off me. We got to give the other team the ball with 1 second left."
That kid should be cut from that team.
I
totally agree.
I agree. If you're the
I'd
coach,
never let him play again.
First of all, if you're the coach, you flat out act like you didn't hear him.
Totally don't.
You just,
I didn't know what you meant.
You
there.
turn your back, you walk away. A dub's on the line. So, Matt, sorry, buddy. Thanks for playing. Thanks for listening.
Great job, Matt.
All right.
Appreciate it.
We have your chance right now to score a pair of tickets to see Brooks and Dunn with special guest David Lee Murphy on Friday, April 25th at Enterprise Center. You can text in to win the tickets at 314-399-9646. Here's your trivia question. Earlier today, Jamie said that the Blues could replicate which team to potentially make a playoff run this year? Which hockey team did Jamie reference that the Blues can replicate this year? If you have the correct answer, again, text in 314-399-9646. If you're the 101st texter with the correct answer, you're going to get the free tickets to see Brooks and Dunn with special guest David Lee Murphy. Find all the ticket details now and a bonus chance to register to win at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 ESPN mobile app.
We got some people texting in saying that I used the options for the field goal question. I did.
It doesn't matter.
It didn't matter because we both got it wrong.
Yeah, Marsh got it wrong. Here's how the scoring went, because I think we got some confusion here. Marsh, 2-1 after the first question. They both got the second question wrong. They both got the third question right, but they both used the options. So Marsh with a 3-2 lead going into the final question, which they both got wrong. So,
yeah.
Hopefully that handles some of the confusion there.
Little box score for you.
Yeah, a little box score for those scoring at home. And apparently there's a lot of people doing so. I appreciate it. Absolutely. All right, this is a loaded question. What do the Blues do right compared to the Cardinals and vice versa? That's next on 101 ESPN.
Are you thinking about a renovation at home? Maybe a kitchen, bathroom, that outdoor living space? If you are, please call E&B Granite. My friends over there are awesome. They've got over 2 decades of family ownership and operation. They're such an amazing group of people over there, too. They do great things for kitchens, bathrooms, outdoor spaces. I walked in off the street to 6135 Manchester Avenue, got to talk with an in-house design staff person immediately because I didn't know what I was doing. I wanted to redo my kitchen, but didn't know what was trendy, what I should be doing, the quality of things. Well, the staff helped me out tremendously, took me into the back where they have all of the countertops, got to pick exactly which countertop I wanted to install, then the backsplash, all that stuff. And the fabricators and the installers did a great job, too. Pulled everything out of the old kitchen, left no mess. And then when they installed the new kitchen stuff, it was fantastic. Took a picture. It was ready for a magazine. I want that exact same experience for you. So please, again, it's E&B Granite. Give them a call. Book an appointment. That number's 314-645-9300. Again, that's 314-645-9300. Or you can always visit them at enbgranite.com.
This is Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Tom Stillman joined the opening drive earlier today, and one of the things that our guy Randy Carricker asked Tom Stillman, or at least hinted at, was the comments made by Tom Stillman way back when he kind of took over as majority owner of the Blues, and how there's a responsibility to the fan base. You know, it's a trust, essentially. The Blues view it as a responsibility to put a good product on the ice for their fans. Here's Tom Stillman's mindset as an owner as it applies to what Randy was talking about.
We didn't buy a plumbing supply company. We bought an enterprise in which a lot of people have a big emotional investment, and it is important to the city's economy, mentality, everything. So if you're going to get into something like that, then you have to, consider the fans and the public at large part of your constituency, part of your stakeholders. And I'd say we don't do that by, if we do, reading the comments and say, well, we're going to get criticism there. It's not that way. It's more, what's going to be the best thing for the future of the Blues, short-term and long-term, even if in a lot of cases, that's not something a lot of people want us to do at that time. And evaluating things in that light rather than, I don't know. In Doug's case, he could say, well, that's not good for me. It's going to be a down year if I do this. And he's done the things that have been best for the Blues. And that's how we've tried to look at it. What's going to be best for the Blues and all their stakeholders, number one among them, fans and supporters, going forward.
What's interesting about what Tom Stillman said, it does echo what Army said when they made the announcement, Jamie, that Alexander Steen was going to be taken over as the general manager in future years. What Stillman said was it's whatever's best for the Blues.
Yeah.
And that is a constant drumbeat from the Blues. Whatever's best for the note. And I do believe they believe that. And I don't know if the Cardinals don't believe that. I'm not going to sit here and say, the Cardinals don't believe in that. I think that's kind of ridiculous. However, when the president of hockey operations / GM is saying it and the owner's saying it, you have clear cohesion from top to bottom. Mm-hmm. And I think that the Blues, from a messaging standpoint, have been so consistent that is the thing they really they do not struggle with that like the Cardinals do. So if we set it up, we say, hey, what do the Blues do right compared to the Cardinals and vice versa? One of the things that I know, and I know you think this way too, one of the things that the Blues do well is their message is consistent and it is blunt and it is straightforward. There's no reading between the tea leaves here, or not reading between the lines or reading the tea leaves like the Cardinals do.
Yeah, and so I know we have this talk a lot, and it's easy to criticize the Cardinals because, they're not playing baseball as well as we'd like them to play. But this truly is an apples-to-apples conversation because the Blues have missed the playoffs 2 years in a row as well.
True.
So it's not like this is 2019. The Blues are coming off the Stanley Cup championship, and Army and Tom Stillman are telling you, it's easy because and the Cardinals aren't playing good. Well, no kidding. The Blues are better shape right now. But these two teams are kind of in the same spot.
Yeah, you're right.
Except one team is trending upward and the other one is not trending downward, but not trending anywhere, just staying in the same spot. So that's why I like this discussion because they're both in very similar situations. Mm-hmm. Now, the difference is that Army and the Blues overall, they say, we do what's best for the Blue Note. That's great. But they also tell the fan base what the Blue Note's plan is.
Right.
And then the actions follow the words. Where the Cardinals have misstepped in the last couple of seasons is saying one thing, but then the way they're doing it tells you a different story. So when they go out, there's like pitching last year. Well, Sonny Gray. Yeah. Fans are like, okay, I can see. Yep. Mo said pitching. That's a Cy Young candidate last year. Bring him on. But then if you backfilled it with Gibson and Lance Lynn, and you're like, now you're squinting to try and see the vision.
Yeah.
Because that's not really, like when he said pitching, he didn't really say 4 or 5 guys, like number 4 and number 5 in the rotation, or borderline, like out of the rotation guys. So then the fans like, well, the actions don't match what they're saying. Like they got pitching, but they didn't really. They did the old Cardinals thing.
Yeah,
Scotch tape on the hole in the boat, And so I think that's the biggest misstep for the Cardinals is not what they said, because what they said they truly believe as an organization, and I think they're in lockstep with the ownership. I think the DeWitt family's in lockstep with Mo and Gersh and all that. Like they had a vision. Problem is the way they fulfilled that vision was not the way they should have.
Yeah.
So the words didn't match the actions, and now you have a middling team again, and the fan base is not happy about it.
So what happens if the Blues take a step back, though, this season? They made all these moves in the offseason, but point-wise, in the team itself,
good question,
and it looks bad. I won't even say bad. Let's just say they take a step back, point-wise.
Yep.
Just as simple as that. Is the message still the same? Like, are the fans still behind? Okay, they're a little bit more transparent. I'm cool with that. Like, what does that look like?
I think you'll start to see more criticism.
Okay.
And for one specific, and Jamie, it looks like you disagree, but for one specific reason, the expectations are growing with the Blues. There is hope. Right now with the Cardinals, there might be a little hope lately because the young guys are starting to play well, but it's faint hope. With the Blues, I think everybody kind of has realistic expectations this year. But when you mix in expectations with hope, and those expectations are not met, you've got disappointment and frustration. I don't think it'll be to the point of like where we're at with the Cardinals now being frustrated. We're frustrated with the organization. But I do think if you miss the playoffs for the third straight year and you did have some hope, Jamie, I do think there would be criticism.
Yeah, no, I do, but I also feel like there's enough youth in the lineup for the Blues where you could look at it and say, hey, we're still trending in the right direction.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Army was very cautious with the way he expressed his thoughts on playoffs. I mean, the goal is to make the playoffs and the goal is to win the Stanley Cup. I mean, that's every single year. Sometimes that goal is realistic, sometimes it isn't. But I just think that even if the Blues take a step back next year, fans won't be happy. I don't think they'll be sitting there being like, well, we love this losing stuff. But I think then you have, what steps did Dalibor Dvorsky take during the year? Jimmy Snuggerud, now a St. Louis Blue. Zach Bolduc, a year older, better skater, better shooter, more confident. Zach Dean, where is Lindstein? Is he coming over? There's still a lot to look forward to if you're a Blues fan. And I think that's right now there are things to look forward to if you're a Cardinals fan, but the problem is the Cardinals haven't said we're going to bring our young players in. What they've done is they have patched it up again with Brandon Crawford, Matt Carpenter, Lance Lynn, Gibby. Like they've done this whole thing. Right. Instead of just saying, screw it, Graceffo, McGreevy, you guys are going to be in there. Every 5 days, we'll figure it out how this thing works. And bringing back up Nolan Gorman, Sajaysi's there. See, that's where the Blues still have the opportunity to turn it up a notch. Is to say, hey, look, first year with Broberg, Holloway was a new guy. Yeah, we get some chemistry issues. Our blue line's getting better. We get some better young defensemen. It still can feel like the Blues are trending in the right direction, even if they take steps back. But again, if Blues fans are upset about taking steps backwards, they should be. You should want the most from your team all the time.
Yes.
I'm just afraid that the team becomes like the Ottawa Senators, right? Like I feel like for years now they've been saying, okay, we got these young guys. We're starting to push towards what would be a playoff team, not a top team in the East, but a playoff team, and they really haven't done anything. And you brought up the Red Wings. I feel like the Red Wings have been in that similar situation as of late. But again, they didn't take. I thought last year, and we saw the Red Wings play some really good hockey games, but then they faltered towards the end of the season, and they once again didn't make the playoffs. And I feel like fans in Detroit are probably really upset about that because they had the hope and slight expectations to be, one of the lower seeded teams in the East. And I don't want the Blues to kind of fall into that category where they're right there, but they're not good enough to actually make the playoffs.
Do you know who's not upset in Detroit?
Lions fans?
No. Do you know who's not?
Stevie Yzerman?
No, the Red Wings fans are not upset.
They're not? Okay.
Do you know why? Because Steve Yzerman has mapped out the plan. So much so they call it the Yzer plan. I'm not joking. And he's mapped it out the whole way, basically predicted how this is going to roll. Now, he did expect the team to make the playoffs last year, and they missed by 1 point. Actually, they tied for a playoff spot, but lost a tiebreaker. So I think the Red Wings are a playoff team next year. But that's why fan bases embrace teams when you're being completely honest. You know what other team that Ottawa reminds me of? The Tampa Bay Lightning before they became good. Go back. All those unbelievable young players that they had, they stunk. That team was terrible. Finally, when the team was ready to make those next steps, they brought in John Cooper and Tyler Johnson, Alex Killorn, Palat, Kucherov, all these guys that were young, mistake-making players became the real deal, and then they went on a tear. So I think Ottawa is right there at the cusp. They've had so many bad years that they've picked up a lot of really good draft picks, good players. I think they've got a good coach now, so I think they're ready to make that next step.
Are the Blues in that conversation with those teams? Are they right outside that conversation?
Yeah, it's a different scenario because those three teams had to stink really bad for a number of years to get all those high picks, where Army is desperately trying to avoid that, and so far has done a really good job of getting good draft picks and then going out and taking other teams' first-round picks.
Right.
Broberg and Holloway were first-round picks. So you just gained 2 first-round picks with NHL experience, and you put them on your roster. So Army's trying to flip this thing on its head while in real time. So I don't see the Blues as a comparable to either of those three teams because they were so young and they were so terrible for an extended period of time. But I do see the Blues with the ability to take steps forward. Whether it's this year or next year, this team is going to be getting better.
That's Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh, Anthony Stalter. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We do have the Sports Six-Pack coming up, so if you have a question for us, 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. Text in, and we'll do the Sports Six-Pack next.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals pick up a victory last night over the Pirates. 10-5 was the final score. Eric Fetty will be on the mound for the Redbirds tonight, going up against Luis Ortiz. First pitch is at 6:15. Tonight on 101 ESPN, you can listen to Thursday Night Football. It's the Jets and the Patriots. Pregame starts at 6:30. We have our Sports Six-Pack coming up next, so if you have a question you want to send our way, do so using the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. Sports Six-Pack coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is brought to you by Paramount Men's Medical Center. Suffering from ED or PE? Your first treatment is free at ParamountMen'sMedical.com.
Time for the Sports Six-Pack here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Andrew Marsh, Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. If you have a question, you can send it in at 314-399-9646. Marsh, go.
Question number 1.
From the 573, which Blues player has the best chance of winning the Hart Trophy at some point in their career?
Wow. That's going to be a tough one for any of them right now. It's a tough question because, those players are the McDavids, the Dreisaitl's, the Matthews.
I'll say Robert Thomas.
Yeah, I mean, he's your most talented player right now, but, what does Dvorsky look like in 5 years?
Human being, hockey player.
Yeah, very good hockey player. Great human being, too. Very nice kid. Mm-hmm. But you don't know. He can't really project what he'll be, so it's tough to say. But on the surface of things, I'd say Robert Thomas.
Yeah. Give us Robert Thomas for $5,000, please.
Question number 2.
From the 618. If you're Chicago, do you trade good draft picks for an elite offensive line right now? You have your team. You think you have the QB. Don't waste time. Trade 1s, 2s, 3s for O-line help now. And that's in three exclamation points.
Well, you're not going to get anything right now. I don't care if you offer a first, second, third round pick. Teams that have good offensive linemen are going to be utilizing them for the season.
Yeah.
So you're better off to stink, get a good offensive lineman in the draft, and then during the offseason, fire off some picks to try and pick up some guys.
So
I think.
Why? And I said at the time, so this is not me going back, but why did you need Rome Odunze at 9?
Yeah, I know.
You had 2 picks. You took Caleb Williams. Okay, great. Why did you absolutely need another wide receiver?
Because they thought that they in their minds, which is bad general manager mind, is I got to give my quarterback someone to pass to.
Right.
Overlooking that your quarterback can't pass to anybody when he's on his ass.
Yes. Correct.
That's my thought.
Correct, Jamie.
Okay.
You already had DJ Moore. You already had Cole Kmet. You brought in Keenan Allen. You had to have... This is nothing against Rome Odunze, but you had to have Rome Odunze? You sat there at 9. You could have taken the tackle from Penn State. You could have taken the OT from Oregon State that is now starting for the Saints. I mean, you could have selected some protection right then and there.
Is that where their value was, though, at that point in time?
So... it's about picking the right player, ultimately, right?
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to trying to figure out, like, Bo Nix at 12. Could we make a case that Bo Nix wasn't a first-round pick? Probably. Mm-hmm. But, if the Broncos wind up eventually with the right player, it's not going to matter. Don't we do this all the time where it's like, hey, go back in if we go back to the 2001 draft, who's going first? Probably Tom Brady. Or not 2001, but 2000 draft.
99, wasn't it?
I don't think it was 99.
Yeah, I think because 2000, 2001 was his rookie season. And in 2001 is the year they won the...
Let's see here.
01-02 was when they
It was
won.
2000 draft.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll split the difference on that one, Jamie.
01 was when the Super Bowl was played.
There you go. So the 2000 draft, we take Tom Brady. First overall.
Yes,
just
he
in
was.
the 6th round. It's about getting the right player. So, Marsh, to answer your question, would one of those tackles have been the right value at that point?
Mm-hmm.
If he winds up protecting Caleb Williams' blind side for the next 10 years, then yes.
I think we're criticizing Caleb Williams and the Bears offensive line, but how are those tackles doing?
The one
are they doing good? I don't know. I'm genuinely asking.
The one for the Saints is apparently like an absolute athletic monster stud.
And Joe
the kid from Oregon State.
he's been doing really well too, but you weren't going to get him.
He was off the board, right? The Chargers wound up taking him. I'm just saying, in theory, right? Do you want to take the wide receiver at 9, or would you be better off focusing on one of those tackles to protect Caleb Williams? That tackle could suck, I get it, but I'd rather miss on the O-lineman than miss on the wide receiver when there's at least 75,000 wide receivers that are available later in the draft. Everybody's throwing right now in college football. You can find wide receivers littered throughout the draft. So just my take on that. So would you sell out to build an offensive line? I don't think you have to sell out. You just got to build an O-line.
Question number 3.
From the 314, do you think baseball is headed in an irreversible direction where there are only a few relevant teams every year? With the gap between the rich and poor continuing to grow, it seems like it is just the big markets every year who will get the free agents, spend the money, and have the best shot continually.
Well, you guys know my take on this.
Yeah.
I said it when Shohei Ohtani signed with the Dodgers, which wasn't a surprise, and they're well within their rights to sign him. I get it. I'm not criticizing the Dodgers. Go for it, man. But when they signed Shohei Ohtani, and then the subsequent moves were to trade for Tyler Glass now and to trade for Teoscar Hernandez, I came on these airwaves. I said, "You guys fired up for the baseball season?" Because I'm not. I with no cap, you're getting too top heavy now.
Yeah.
It's just not. It wasn't fun coming into the year.
I wonder how players feel about it. I wonder, because, BT's adamant that Major League Baseball will never have a salary cap.
Yeah, and he's probably right.
He's probably right. They have a very strong union. But at what point do the majority of players who don't play on filthy rich teams with great seasons, do they start to get, just done with it? Imagine playing in a team that's a middling team every year, and you can't... there's no hope of going to a better team. Or you're a player that's an average MLB player.
Yeah.
And free agency's not going to bring you to the Dodgers or the Phillies or the Braves or the Yankees. But you got to go back to that middling team. And you never really win anything. Your team's always like, meh. I wonder, because there's way more of those players than there are of the players that are on the rich teams.
Sure.
So I wonder at one point if there's the bubble that bursts and you get a big swell from within the side the union that says, I'm tired of this.
Right.
I don't think that'll happen because these players are still all being paid very, very well.
Right.
But you never know.
Well, you know better than anybody. You've been through two lockouts?
Two. Yeah.
2 lockouts. So you know better than anybody what happens. The guys that are making all the money kind of make all the decisions. And
it's annoying.
Those guys do. The owners are going to want something too. So if you want a cap, okay, what are you giving up? Are you giving up guaranteed contracts in baseball? Well, they're not going to want to do that. So I think we'll always have kind of this impasse where the owners don't want the floor, the players don't want the cap, and you get what you have now, which is a bunch of, you get a handful of players that are spending, a handful of teams spending all the money on the players. We'll continue our Sports Six Pack next on 101 ESPN.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six Pack is brought to you by Paramount Men's Medical Center. Suffering from ED or PE? Your first treatment is free at ParamountMen'sMedical.com.
It's Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We continue our Sports Six Pack with question number 4, please.
Question number 4.
All right, this one comes from the mailman.
Carl Malone, listening again. Appreciate you. All right.
The mailman wants to know if Ricky Proehl had one of the best catches in the playoffs. Do you think Ricky Proehl's catch in the playoffs was one of the best we've seen in NFL history?
Based on what it meant, magnitude and all that. Sure.
Julian Edelman's catch was pretty darn good, too.
Yeah.
And so was, what's his name? Ball on the head guy for the Giants.
Tyree.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Mario Manningham had an unbelievable one in the Super Bowl.
Malcolm Butler had a great one.
That was, yeah. It was technically, I guess, a catch. Filed away as an interception.
Yeah, it's a catch. You caught the ball.
Yeah,
you know who also had a really good catch in that same game, but it goes slightly unnoticed because of what ended up happening, was Jermaine Kearse.
Yeah.
He caught it. It bounced off his leg.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Malcolm
to
Butler,
set him up for. Yeah.
That's what set them up.
Yeah, that's right.
Malcolm Butler flew by and didn't continue the play. Got taken out the next play.
Yeah.
I believe they ran the ball, and then he went right back in, caught the interception.
I mean, we forget all of the various big-time plays, right? Like even when the Tim Tebow pass to Demaryius Thomas on the slant, it wasn't a great catch or anything like that, but Thomas beat the Steelers virtually by himself in that moment to put them into the divisional round against the Patriots, where they got waxed. But we forget about all those big time catches. So is Ricky Proehl's up there? Yeah, sure.
We also have the text line reminding us about the Immaculate Reception.
Well, yeah, that would probably be up there too.
That's probably pretty good.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if your catch is has a
nickname, you're right.
Yeah,
kind of a loaded question.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Question number 5.
From the 636, during your eulogy, which animal do you want to die fighting?
What?
I don't know.
What? So, okay. So they're okay. So is this two different?
So you're dead, right? And we're saying our eulogy for you. Your eulogy. Which animal did you die fighting?
Oh, I got you.
Oh, I got you.
Okay, that makes more sense now.
Let's see.
Probably a shark.
The shark's pretty good.
That's pretty tough, considering that's your favorite animal, favorite fish.
I'm not saying obviously I didn't make it, but yeah, probably a shark.
Yeah, I'm going to go with polar bear. Those things are massive.
And
if
nasty.
I'm going out, I want to be like, yeah, you know what? He probably shouldn't have taken that fight.
Yeah.
But he did. Now he's dead, of course.
Right, yep.
Bad decision.
I mean, it's a polar bear.
But man, the guts on that guy.
Went down swinging, didn't he? Yeah.
You would have to just keep swinging, hoping for the best.
Yeah.
I mean, a bear's got to be able to get knocked out, right?
Sure.
They've got jaws.
Yeah.
Big-ass jaws.
You'd probably swing and then put your fist in his mouth on accident, you know?
Yeah, if you're throwing a hook the right way, though, it shouldn't. You should still hit the jaw. The problem is the bear probably has a bit of a reach on you, too, and maybe 4 or 5 times your strength, which is tough to tie him up, you know?
Hugh Gisoli says, you can't even swim in your parents' pool. How are you going to fight a shark? Again.
That's a good point. Maybe that's why you lost to the shark.
Again, we're giving the eulogy. I clearly didn't make it.
Yeah.
It's not like I fought the shark and I won, and then I'm giving Jamie's eulogy. I'm gone.
Do you think the shark
got me?
But I wouldn't want to fight the shark, for obvious reasons, okay? But you're in the water, you really don't have a chance.
Oh, I'm done.
No, you got to punch it right in its nose.
The nose. Yeah.
And what if it's one of the ones that doesn't care?
Then you're screwed.
Guys, again, if I'm fighting an animal at some point, or a fish in this case, and I die, I'm telling you, it's going to be a shark. I don't understand what we're missing on this. All right.
Now, what's an animal that?
All right, fine. Bees. Bees got me.
I was just gonna ask, what's a
hornets?
Like an animal or a bug or a fish or whatever you want to come up with. That's just like a real tough look. Like Marshy died from stepping on an ant or something.
Right.
Or well, actually, ants they actually can be pretty deadly, but
so can bees.
They absolutely can. But what is one?
I saw a documentary from the kid from Home Alone.
Yes.
Yeah. He died from bees.
The kid from Home Alone.
Yeah.
Macaulay Culkin?
Well,
he died from bees?
Yep.
Like in real life?
Whole other documentary.
Richie Rich?
Yep. Whole other Jamie, you remember that, right?
Richie Rich?
I don't know if it was that.
No.
The Good Brother?
Which documentary?
So the kid from Home Alone, died from bees. Saw a whole documentary on it. He was talking with a girl.
Oh yeah. What was that?
He was friends with a girl for a long time.
It was a really sad documentary.
Yeah,
I do remember that.
Yep. It was tough.
What was the name of that documentary?
I think it was called My Girl.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you think bees would be a tough look?
Bees would be a tough look.
To die by a bee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, unless you're allergic to bees, of course.
And I think Home Alone was.
Yeah.
And that's what made
it's
it
still
sad.
a tough look. You're taken down by that vicious bee.
Yeah.
Like a frog. That'd be a tough look, right? Like,
oh, yeah.
But if it was like a poison dart frog or something, then you're like,
But shouldn't have ate it.
Bazooka Tooth 75 says, no, it was the girl who died. No. No, it was. I'm pretty sure it was Home Alone.
I can't remember. I think it was the girl. No. That's why it says My Girl.
I'm usually not good at this, but I'm going to die on that hill. I think it was the boy.
I think you're wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you're wrong on this one.
You're wrong.
You're wrong on this, Anthony.
We get a text from the 314, the rabbit from Monty Python's Holy Grail.
The rabbit?
Was there a rabbit? I can't remember. Did a rabbit?
I can't remember, yeah.
Get a bunch of them?
That was the boy.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
What are you looking at? Did you Google who died?
Yeah.
In the documentary? I have to double check this.
Yes. Did you see it?
Yeah, Thomas J.
Thank you.
Little Thomas J.
Little TJ.
Bazooka 275. Nope, and enjoy riding on that hill. No problem. I'll be right here. I'll accept your apology when you get it.
I think he's just messing with you.
Well,
he's doing a good job.
Question number 6.
He'll never admit it. Bazooka Tooth 75, you'll never admit it. Willie's right. Snake Pit, they're gaslighting me right now.
Wow. From the 618, would you rather be a fan of the Blues?
Bazooka 275 crawls back into my hole. It's all good. We're having fun. Except for that kid, he died from bees. That wasn't fun. Yeah.
Would you rather be a fan of the Blues making progress towards the playoffs or a fan of the Penguins on a playoff doomsday clock?
I don't know. Penguins fans have been pretty well taken care of since Sidney Crosby has been there. And are they a team that's heading in the wrong direction because of older players? Yes, they are. But I don't know. I personally would rather be a fan of the Blues because I live here and I love the Blues. But if you're in Pittsburgh, I don't think you feel slighted that on a nightly basis you go get to watch Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin play and Chris Letang and Erik Karlsson. And you're probably pretty happy you went to the game.
Probably.
Yeah.
All right. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. That went off the rails. No surprise here, though. That's us. It's basically the whole show. Is the Cardinals winning this last little stretch here? Is it by coincidence? That's next on 101 ESPN. Jamie, I know you had a situation with our guy Stewie recently that really showed you what we often talk about, that old school customer service that Stewie provides us.
Yeah, it was awesome. Stewie came by the office here, met with me in the process of trying to buy a new home, and there's obstacles. There always is something that's going to pop up that you didn't think about. So I had this problem, and Stewie said, well, hang on a second. Picked up his phone, called somebody quickly, said, no, I got to fix. Here's what we're going to do. Boom, 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 boom. And the process has been awesome. Paperwork, all this stuff, his staff does an incredible job. They've contacted me already a couple of times today. I mean, they are on their game. So if one of our listeners is out there and you're thinking about buying a home and you think you can't qualify for a loan or you don't know how to do it or you're not sure about this, pick up the phone and call Stewie.
That's right.
He is the man with the plan, and he'll find out exactly what he can do to help you get to your dream home or help you with your purchase. And it's easy because he hands out his personal cell phone number. 314-324-4440.
Again, 314-324-4440.
Give him a call, shoot him a text, anything you want, Anthony.
Absolutely. And if you miss that number because you're driving around and you think, well, okay, how do I get a hold of Stewie then? Just Google the Bagel Loan. All this information will pop up right there. It's Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Give him a call. See what he can do for you when it comes to buying a house, securing a loan, refi, debt consolidation. He can do it all. Again, Google the Bagel Loan.
NMLS number 226715.
Where St. Louis gets its sports. WXOS, WXOS HD1 East St. Louis, 101 ESPN.
So, Jamie, you were watching the Cardinals last night, and you were around a bunch of people that were kind of coming up to you watching. You're out in a public spot, and people coming up to you and saying, hey, what do you think about the Cardinals? And you noticed kind of a theme develop, which was basically, hey, we don't really care if they're losing right now. We just want to see some good, young, exciting baseball, and we're getting it. And it really does go back to what you and I have been talking about with the Cardinals. We're on the same page with this. Partial youth movement. And some of the text line, some of the Cardinals fans have fought back on us because they're like, well, I don't want to see that. I want to see the team try. I want to see them being aggressive in the offseason. You're not going to see it. No. So what would you rather have? Would you rather run it back with another version of Lance Lynn, Kyle Gibson, or some sort of one-year free agent stopgap? Or do you want to see Michael McGreevy? Ups and downs of Michael McGreevy. Because that's the other thing, too. People are like, well, it's not guaranteed that Michael McGreevy or Jordan Walker, whoever, becomes a stud for you. You're right. I'm okay with the ups and downs, too, though, at this point. I'm so tired of the team worried about the high floor that it's missing out on a potentially high ceiling with players.
Yeah, I agree. And, this is all the more reason watching this team of last little stretch, and this is nothing against the player, but all the more reason to move on from Paul Goldschmidt. I don't think the Cardinals will do that, but I would move on, and I would seriously consider moving Jordan Walker to first base. I don't know if the outfield is his calling.
Now, what evidence do you have when you say stuff like that?
Well, lots, but recent evidence would be 2 plays in the outfield last night. One, he lost it in the lights, I guess. It looked like it almost scared the crap out of him, and He didn't want to get hit in the face by it, which I understand. The other one was just kind of a bad play. And those are going to happen. I get he's a young player. Those are going to happen. But there's one thing making mistakes and one thing looking completely uncomfortable. And sometimes he looks uncomfortable out there. He was drafted as, a third baseman, I believe is what he was. I think you move the big body over to first base. He kind of fits the profile. I mean, look at first basemen around Major League Baseball. A lot of them are big, burly dudes. And I think that's what I would do, but you can't do that if you have Paul Goldschmidt standing there. I know people say, well, Alec Burleson. Alec Burleson's better defensively in the outfield than Jordan Walker is at this moment.
I don't disagree with that at all.
You can't. I mean, it's just the way it is.
I think the thing with him, though, is Jordan Walker, that is his arm. He's got a good arm. Do you want to put him at first base and essentially kind of get rid of that?
But, Marshy, the arm, how often do you really need that cannon? You need a guy every time it's hit to him to be able to catch it.
I agree. I don't disagree with you. I think if you move him to the infield, is it one of those things where you just move him to third base? You keep him in the outfield until Arenado's contract is up, or if you get rid of him and then you move him to third base. That way he can show off that arm.
You can. I would try him at first base, see what it looks like. I don't think the drop-off from his arm to whoever else's arm is that drastic.
Yeah.
It's not like he can't throw it into the next player. Like, it's not like Burleson can't throw it to the second baseman. Like he's got a good enough arm to get it in there. In fact, Burley's got a couple of assists this year from the outfield. So I just think that, not to get too dialed into position-specific stuff like that, but the young guys are fun to watch, and that's kind of the vibe I've been getting from a lot of people who watch the Cardinals, who want to talk about baseball. They're not talking about older players and bring back this guy and, extend this play. They're talking about the younger players coming in, playing an exciting brand of baseball.
Right.
Cardinals fans are smart. They know that there's going to be mistakes that come along with exciting baseball from a young player.
They get it.
Like, newsflash to everybody, Ozzie Smith made mistakes as a young player.
You shut
Albert
your mouth.
Pujols made mistakes as a young player.
Yeah.
All your favorite Cardinals made mistakes as young players and then went on to become, some of these guys, Gold Glove, perennial Gold Glove winners or really solid defensive players.
Yep.
So you take the growing pains with a young team. But I just think that now is the time. And it's not a coincidence to me that the Cardinals are having this little surge at this point of the season. What better way to have a team have a surge than to put young players in the lineup?
Right.
You're going to get a surge of energy. Now, is that energy translate to wins? I don't know. Not necessarily, but it is right now. So for me, it's a no-brainer for the organization.
At that point, let's think about it this way. So right now, you're not doing a whole bunch of winning. I'm talking about for the season. You're in second place, but it's really hollow second place because you're 7 games back of the third wild card.
Who's in second place?
The Cardinals.
The Cubs. Are they not?
I think the Cardinals are right now.
No. Yes, they are. My bad.
Okay.
No, they're tied.
Either way.
Literally tied. 77-75, both teams.
Again, my point is you're 7 games back of the third wild card. You're not doing a whole bunch of relative winning.
No.
If the young guys weren't playing right now, and the same thing is going on, you don't have much hope there. There's not a bunch of upside. So if you're going to be average, I would rather be average with the upside than average with 0 upside. And I know it's kind of a basic statement, but the only reason why I say that is because the Cardinals have been that way the last 2 years. Last year was no reason to watch. They gave you nothing last year. This year, toward the tail end, we're starting to get a little something to get excited about because Walker and Wynn are starting to, they're playing together. Like Derek Gould had the big piece today about them together. They're all, they've been together. That is your future.
Yeah.
It's time to showcase that future. It's time to give it the runway, and it's time to bring up some of these young pitchers, mainly Michael McGreevy, and let him have the runway as well. What about the innings? What about the innings?
Who cares?
You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We're not promoting damage the kid's arm.
No.
But
he's not going to ruin his arm. If he goes once every 5 days and you keep him on a modest pitch count, not because it's like what the analytics say, but it's because you want to keep him healthy. You can do that because you've got guys like Liberatore in your bullpen. You just make sure that those guys are available on the starts for a young player right now. So if he's only allowed to go 4 innings, let's say, You got Matthew Liberatore's going to eat up 2 or 3 innings, and then you're into your regular bullpen guys after that.
Yeah, it has been done before.
It's been done. Yeah, Steven Matz, too. Let's not forget that.
I have.
At what point, though, like...
Jamie, I'm going to stop you right there. I have.
My bad.
Yeah.
At what point do you just... Like, for one, we just can't keep waiting.
Right.
Like, you got to bring these guys up.
Amen.
At least the pitchers.
Yep.
What, are you going to wait till 2027?
I'm not, Marsh. I'm not going to do that. Now, if you want to, fine, but I don't.
Don't be looking at me. I don't want to do that.
I don't want it at all. Don't want. All right, it's Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Why don't we do some NFL Pick'em Challenge picks?
Yes.
Starting off with tonight. Who's got the huevos rancheros to take Jamie's oldest New England Patriots child?
I'll tell you who.
That's next on 101. You're not on 101 ESPN.
Challenge on 101 ESPN.
Refreshed by Bud Light.
Well, you sure know how to pick 'em.
Tonight we've got Jets Patriots pregame starting at 6:30, kickoff at 7:15. Jets and Patriots Thursday night football again right here on 101 ESPN with Jamie Rivers and Andrew Marsh and Anthony Stalter. Time for our NFL Week 3 Pick'em Challenge, which we do each and every week with the Rizzuto Show. It's refreshed by Bud Light. Guys, anybody with the stones to take the Patriots tonight?
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like everybody's kind of circling the drain. Like, I could see the Patriots giving the Jets a pretty good game, and then we're all taking the Jets.
Yeah. No, I took the Patriots.
In what? Life or?
No, in the game tonight.
I know you didn't take them.
I took the Patriots.
We're on YouTube, you know. When you wink like that,
wink.
the snake pit sees.
They can clearly see my eyes.
Yeah.
Not winking about anything. I took the Patriots. I don't believe in Aaron Rodgers. I think that team's in shambles. I think the New England Patriots are going to take him up the hill, just like they've been talking about. Take him to the hill.
I love the hill.
Mm-hmm. Great food.
Favaz is my favorite spot.
Yeah, great food.
Marshy, you get the stones, the huevos rancheros to do what Jamie will not?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No.
Check.
I'm going with the Jets.
I got to check this from Jamie. He's gonna force me to check this. There's no way he took the Patriots.
Just think about it for a second, Anthony. As you check, think about it.
Okay. I'm going to think that you took the Jets.
I think he's staltering you right now.
No, you'll see.
He's changing it. Don't change it.
I'm not. I'm actually sending a text right now.
Okay, all right.
You can proofread it if you'd like.
No, I don't want to proofread it. All right.
I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to go eat tonight because my daughter has a soccer game at Creve Coeur Park, and so Ashley and I are trying to figure out somewhere near Creve Coeur Park to eat.
I think there is a little.
See, you ask, can you get, Anthony?
There's a little spot I think over there that
better than some of your other texts.
That is pretty nice.
Right, like the lake house there.
Yeah, the lake house, Creve Coeur Lake House.
Still open?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's the year round, maybe.
Yeah.
Text line, Lake House still open? Let me know. You guys know everything.
Guys, this is a tough week. This is a tough week in the Pick'em Challenge. So let's go over some of these right now, and we could kind of go in order here. Browns, Giants. Everybody got the Browns?
Yes.
All right. Colts and Bears. Anybody give any consideration to taking the Bears?
No.
Yeah, I took the Bears.
You took the Bears.
Yes.
Okay, so you have Caleb Williams getting his first road win.
I do.
Does he get a touchdown this time, or just field goals again?
Probably a bunch of Bears touchdowns.
So,
defense.
Anthony Richardson can throw a ball 100 yards. Can he throw a ball 5 yards and complete it?
No.
So we'll see how that game goes. I have the Bears in that one. Indianapolis, they look. I mean, they lost to Green Bay, who had Malik Willis as their quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
Here's the only thing that I'm thinking on that, right? Like, the Colts defense, Gus Bradley runs the most basic cover 4-3 cover 3 defense that you'll find. I think the Bears will try to run the football, and it's actually going to play into the Colts' hands. Anthony Richardson is a total wild card. I think the Colts are a bit of a mystery right now, but I just don't trust what I'm seeing right now to Chicago's offense.
That's fair. I think this game itself plays into the matchup that's keeping at least me up.
Houston and Minnesota.
No, not that game. Chicago, Indianapolis.
Oh, I thought you were leading to another game.
No, I'm just saying this is the matchup that's really keeping me up.
Okay,
and I just decided to go with the Bears.
All right, Jamie, what's the matchup that's really keeping you up? The one that you're going to flip-flop 800 times. You asked me about the Eagles and Saints.
Yeah, that was the one. I'm trying to double-check here right now. But, yeah, the Eagles and the Saints were one. Texans and the Vikings. I mean, I picked the Texans, but I'm really unsure about that. I think those are the ones there. And
Packers and Titans for me.
Ravens, Cowboys, too. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be, but it is.
Mm-hmm. Who are you taking right now?
I took the Ravens.
I took Baltimore as well.
Is it on the premise that they won't lose 3 straight? Because that is where I'm at.
It's on the premise that they can't be this bad.
And the Cowboys
are the Cowboys.
Yeah, they're going to cowboy it up. Look what they did last week.
They were awful. Packers and Titans is interesting. Malik Willis, going back to the team that drafted him, the Packers had a nice win last week. The Titans should be 2-0. They should. They should have beat the Bears week 1. Will Levis gave them that.
Levis.
The Bears the Titans had every opportunity to beat the Jets and faltered. Mm-hmm. They should have at the very least be 1-1. The defense is good enough for that team to win this game against the Packers. I've got the Titans right now, but I may flip-flop 684 times.
I got
Titans?
Yeah. Titans and Packers.
No way.
Okay.
Will Levis will find a way to lose that game, one way or another.
I think Malik Willis is terrible.
He's better than Will Levis.
But here's the thing. I don't think
And the Packers team overall is better.
Malik
I'll
Willis.
give you that.
What's wrong with you?
I think the coaching's better for Green Bay.
Yeah.
And they'll find ways to make him hold on to the football and be very simple with the ball. Mm-hmm. Whereas Will Levis is trying to find ways, again, to ruin the game and ruin Titans fans' days.
Lives,
days,
weeks,
days of our
Sundays.
lives.
Your lock of the week. Mine's the Bucs. Bucs at home against the Broncos.
Yes.
Bo Nix and company on the road. They haven't looked good at all offensively. The Bucs, a little bit of a letdown spot after beating the Lions last week. But I think with the way that the Saints are playing, Falcons woke up finally in the minute 34 on Monday. Tampa's going to have to keep rolling here.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to overlook Denver. That's my lock.
Yeah, that's a good one. I also looked at the Raiders over the Panthers. The Panthers are just terrible. It's just terrible. The Raiders aren't great, but the Panthers are terrible.
Right.
I feel like this could be, and I'm doing it again. I'm not picking Carolina. I'm not doing that again. But this is a game with Andy Dalton, the much more experienced quarterback. When he came in last season, they looked like a different team.
Yep.
They looked a little bit better. Mm-hmm. And the Raiders, they beat Baltimore. I don't really like the Raiders.
What?
Like, I just don't like them as a team. I don't really know what they are. Like, they are susceptible to an upset.
They are Devontae Adams, Brock Bowers, and Max Crosby.
Yeah.
And if those three guys have excellent days, or even fourth quarters like they did in Baltimore, they win. If not, they lose. Like, they're three guys. No offense to Gardner Minshew at all.
Quick shout out to the text line, by the way. People chiming in. The Lake House still open.
There you go.
9 p.m. tonight. So thank you very much.
All right. What about you, Marsh? Are you feeling good about Houston and Minnesota?
So I have
Vikings.
I have Houston winning. That is just to cover some ground. It's a win-win for me. I'm all about the win-win there. I just I think the Vikings look good. I just the Texans. They're a solid ball club. They're a solid football team. Like it's tough to be like, oh yeah, the Vikings. They beat the 49ers. If anybody knows that this team can lose a game after being at the highest of highs, it's a Vikings fan.
That's true.
So I'm picking Houston.
Okay. And
if the Vikings win, well, then I'm a happy camper.
Who do you have in this one, Jamie?
The Vikings, Texans?
Yeah.
Texans. That's the one I said I'm back and forth on.
Okay. See, what's giving me pause right now, I do have the Texans. What's giving me pause is probably the same reason that you guys have. Houston did not look great against the Bears on Sunday night. That should be. I thought that was going to be a blowout. But you can't do that. You can't go week to week, and then whatever you saw last week it's just going to be. That's going to be how it is. That's how you get the Ravens losing to the Raiders, or even the Vikings beating the 49ers. Because we all looked and we saw whatever we saw in week one, we kind of we reacted to that. So I'm trying to really get my feet on the ground and say, what do I really feel about these teams? I think Minnesota, and Marsh, you and I had the discussion before. I think Minnesota is going to have a much better year than people think.
Oh, for sure.
Do I think that the Texans are the better overall team? Yes. Mm-hmm. So when I'm looking at them, despite having to go to Minnesota and Minnesota doing what it did against San Francisco, I'm going to take the Texans. I think they're the better overall team. And over 4 quarters, that's going to play itself out. We also haven't seen Darnold really crap the bed yet. I don't know if it's going to be this moment, but at some point, he's going to have to overcome adversity.
And I was having a conversation with my buddy who's also a Vikings fan, and we're acknowledging what Sam Darnold is doing is really good. but we're not to the point where we're like, Sam Darnold is the guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I feel comfortable saying that 2 games into the season. Now, the defense is legit. So that in itself, if the Vikings do win this game, it wouldn't come as a shock to me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe preseason it would have, but now that we've seen what they can do and the defense is legit, like this is a legit defense under Brian Flores, who has had legit defenses before.
Yep.
So it's not a sham. So I wouldn't be shocked if the Vikings did win. They're at home too, and Stephon Diggs is coming back to the bank. Who knows what kind of game he has? He could go off because it's kind of that revenge game, or he could be a dud in week 3. Who knows?
There's a lot of mouths to feed.
For sure.
That's the other thing with the Texans. I mean, when you got Nico Collins has turned into a very underrated wide receiver. And you still got Tank Dell, and they're trying to feature him in different ways. You know, they get him involved in like reverses and end arounds. Then you got Stephon Diggs, and Stephon Diggs is going to kill you over the middle. A lot of mouths to feed. And if Joe Mixon, is banged up, and he, whether he goes or he's limited, maybe this is a spot where you start to throw the football a lot more. But Brian Flores has done an outstanding job of disguising his defense. He's got that multiple front from New England, his days in New England, where he's going to confuse you. And it's very matchup specific. I can't wait to watch that game.
It's going to be great.
The Ravens-Cowboys one is another game I'm very interested in. Yes. The Cowboys gave up 6 straight touchdowns. Mike Zimmer's head was spinning. He had no idea what to do to slow down Clint Kubiak's offense last week with the Saints. Does he bounce back, and do the Ravens figure out who the hell they are offensively?
Because they actually give the ball to Derrick Henry.
Well, you can't just add Derrick Henry and say, we got Derrick Henry, man, we're good. What is the game plan? Because it should have been pretty clear last week when you built that lead against the Raiders to turn around, lean on Derrick Henry, have your offensive lineman going downhill, and roll.
How many years have I coached in the NFL?
0.
Yeah. I was screaming. You're up 10 points. Why are you not just giving the ball to Derrick Henry over and over and over? Odds are he's going to get you a first down. The clock's going to be running the whole time. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. They overthought it.
Does he still have the juice, though? Maybe they're seeing something that we're not seeing.
So then run another guy with the ball. I don't care. Lamar, run it.
Here's what this is what I said earlier in the week. I don't think the Ravens know how to maximize their personnel. I think if you have Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, I understand, like Carey brought up the point where you have Lamar Jackson, those zone reads are easier for the quarterback to run. Mm-hmm. He can look, he has his read. Normally it's the defensive end. If it's not the defensive end, it's probably the weak side linebacker or whatever, or whatever linebacker is on the side you want to run. The zone read's a little easier for the quarterback to run. However, if you put Lamar Jackson under center and Derrick Henry as the single back, and you're running Derrick Henry, at some point the dam will break with Henry. And then you have play action at your disposal. And people are like, well, you can't have Lamar Jackson turn his back to the defense. Why? If your offensive line can hold up and those defensive linemen start to get their back on their heels a little bit because Derrick Henry's being rammed down their throat constantly, play action can work off that. But if they're going to continue to do what they're doing, Marsh, I don't know if Derrick Henry's out of juice, but I do think it's a weird way to utilize both Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Again, I think they're kind of playing Madden football where it's like, I made the trade for Derrick Henry. We're good now. We don't really have a game plan, but we're good.
Yeah, that's what drives me crazy.
It's going to be a fascinating week in the NFL. We have Beat the Streak. We have Biggest Question of the Day next on 101 ESPN.
At Johnny Londoff Chevrolet, complete customer satisfaction has always and will always be the number one priority. Londoff family they take it very serious that their customers are satisfied and that their customers come back time and time again. They want you to become part of the Londoff family. I know this because I have been part of the Londoff family, or a customer, however you word it, for over 25 years. My family is now, my girlfriend is, and that's because the Londoff Chevrolet team take amazing care of everybody, and they bring you the best prices. How about this right now? 2024 Chevy Silverado 1500 Custom Trail Boss. I drive this truck. I absolutely love it. Suggested retail price, $67,030. Londoff price, $54,030. That is a savings of $13,000. And that's just one of the examples of how well priced things are at Londoff Chevrolet. And Johnny Londoff, he needs your trade-ins right now, and he'll always pay top dollar for your vehicle. He guarantees all that. That's a Londoff guarantee. We know all about that. And now they've got two awesome locations. The original in Florissant, Missouri. I think we all know where that is. But now the new Londoff Autoplex out in St. Peters, right off of Highway 70. Both locations have fantastic inventory, whether it's brand new or pre-owned. Their service areas are awesome. State-of-the-art service area. They take great care of you. I know this because they take awesome care of my vehicles, and I never have to worry, that's for sure. So please stop by either location. Tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. They love hearing that. Or you can visit them at Londoff.com or LondoffAutoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Johnny Londoff Chevrolet. ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals looking to go for the sweep tonight over the Pirates. They won 10-5 last night. Eric Fetty on the mound going up against Luis Ortiz. First pitch is at 6:15. We have Thursday night football for you right here on 101 ESPN. It's the Jets and the Patriots with the pregame starting at 6:30. If you missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll find all of our full shows there, and it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We have Beat the Streak and our biggest question of the day coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh. This Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
I want to hit baseballs.
All of my successes depend on me.
You're ready to hit.
The hits just keep on coming.
And his first big league hit is a bullet up the middle.
It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We've got Beat the Streak now, and our guy AJ's just rolling. AJ, what's going on?
Hey, not much, guys. How are y'all doing today?
Good. You switched it up, right? You got Burleson last night?
Yeah.
And then Wynn hit the home run, so either way you were covered. If you stuck with your guy Wynn or you went Burleson, which was a smart play, either way you're back. So nice job.
Thank you, sir.
Marsh, what do we got for latest streaks?
Well, AJ is just, like you said, Anthony, just dominating right now. With
dominating a lot of faces.
A lot of faces with a streak of 4. I have a streak of 2. Anthony, you have a streak of 2. And Jamie and Carey have a streak of 1. So we all got base hits last night.
I like when all of us participate and produce. Not really. I hope you guys don't get your hits, except for AJ. AJ, who do you want?
Well, I think I'll go back and run it back with Burleson tonight again.
Guys, Alec Burleson is off the board. Marsh, who do you got?
Give me Mason Wynn.
You like Mason Wynn a lot. I don't blame you. Give me Paul Goldschmidt. I'll take Goldie tonight. Jamie?
All right, let's see here. I'm going to go with Brendan Donovan.
And then Carey said Wynn. Brian Reynolds is not taken, right? All right, Brian Reynolds will go to our guy, CD. AJ, best of luck to you, man. Hope you get another hit tonight, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, sounds good. Talk to you guys later.
All right, buddy. See ya. From Beat the Streak to biggest question of the day.
It's time for the Fast Lane's biggest question of the day.
All right, guys. Ivan Herrera had a pretty good game last night. Jamie wanted to punch himself in the face because he couldn't throw the ball down to second base and get a runner out.
Couldn't even get it out of his glove.
He was trying.
Couldn't even get it out of his glove.
No.
Not in the lineup tonight, despite going 3 for 5 yesterday with a ribby. He's only started in 3 games this entire week, but I think a lot of people would consider him to be the guy, the heir apparent, maybe. I don't know. But Pedro Pajes is getting more and more reps behind the dish. And obviously we don't want Jamie continuing to punch himself in the face. But do you think Ivan Herrera should be getting the majority of the playing time behind the dish? We heard Greg Amsinger earlier in the show say that he needs to play every day. Why do you think he's not playing? And 2, are the Cardinals telling us and showing us that he is not the guy?
Well, for me, I think they're probably, this is just my guess, they're probably choosing the lesser of 2 evils on defense.
Yes.
They're saying, while Pedro Pajes isn't the best behind the dish, we know that Ivan Herrera is just, he's not a big league catcher. So we'll pick and choose some spots. We'll try to limit it. If we feel like we have at least a decent pitcher on the mound that's got a quick delivery, we're good with that. Otherwise, we're gonna stick with Pedro Pajes. As far as like the future, I don't think they have somebody on the staff that is working with catchers.
They don't.
So,
I told you the other day, Ollie Marmol said they don't have a catching consultant.
Okay. I couldn't remember if we were talking about that on air or off air.
No, it was on air. They don't have anything, Anthony, apparently.
So, if you don't have anybody working with him consistently at the big league level, then they're not going to play it. They're not going to play him every day. So again, they're just kind of pick and choosing their spots.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, I would have Mike Matheny on speed dial. That guy has forgotten more about the catcher position than Herrera has even discovered.
You're right.
So, and people tend to forget that Matheny also tutored Yadier Molina coming up. Now, it doesn't mean Yadi wasn't a born catcher and a great player. It doesn't mean that at all.
Couldn't hurt, though.
But he certainly took advice and guidance from Mike Matheny.
Yep.
Now, Mike Matheny would have to want to do that, and I don't know if he currently would want to do something like that. But there's got to be somebody else out there, too, because your young catcher who is a threat with the bat. Mm-hmm. Like, he's basically a Wilson Contreras, but younger. You don't get many catchers that can be that effective at the plate as far as hitting the ball. He just somehow, and I don't even know if you can fix it at this point. I don't know how you create stronger arm strength for throwing the ball after a guy's already a full-grown adult and playing Major League Baseball. But there's got to be a way for pop-up time and recognizing things and setting your pitcher up better. Maybe, there's got to be nuances within the game that can give the catcher a slight advantage in those situations. Work with this kid because he has everything else. He can hit, he's a good runner. His framing could use some work, but that just comes with experience. That comes with more time in the majors, and framing might be a thing of the past in a year anyways.
Right.
If they go to the electronic strike zone, you want to worry about that. Can you catch the ball? Yeah, okay, you're hired. You know what I mean?
Go get him.
Like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Framing just irritates the you-know-what out of me. I even texted our group the other day when I believe it was Matthew Liberatore who was pitching. There was a ball that was called, well, it was a strike. It was a high strike that was called a ball. And I'm like, what kind of frame job is this?
Yeah.
The frame, it's just, I know this is terrible for radio, but for those listening on YouTube, you're catching it and just dragging it like.
For every pitch, they drag it back to the middle. Sometimes it's embarrassing, too.
It does, and maybe. I'm not a Major League Baseball, whatever. I'm not even a part of anything, but maybe that's what they're being taught these days to try and confuse the umpires.
Oh, they're taught that. They're taught to frame. Marsh, I can tell you this. I know this.
Yeah.
They're taught a specific way now to drag the ball back to the strike zone.
What happened to sticking it? Just stick it. Stick it right there. Boom.
Yeah.
Catch it. Tilt down. Tilt to the side. Stick it. Whatever happened to that?
Well, they've changed their philosophy on that. What drives me crazy is when you're a young catcher, like I've seen Pages do it a couple of times, where you can tell he's embarrassing the ump by how much he's framing.
Just frame and
like
grabs it and throws it right back.
Well, just he's catching it, 6 inches out of the strike zone, which is not a lot, but and then dragging it all the way back. The ump's like, really? Like, bro.
Right.
That was a ball. It almost hit the guy.
By the way, Zoosh asked from the Snake Pit, he goes, can you tell me why Yadi wants nothing to do with the team? I think it's front office issues. Thoughts? I don't know if it's front office issues as much as I think Yadi just kind of wants to do his thing. That's my read on the situation.
I think Yadi wants to be manager or bust.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to be a consultant unless, every once in a while, maybe on his terms. But what do you do? What do you do if you're the Cardinals?
Fly down to Puerto Rico.
Right. What do you do if you're the Cardinals? You're not going to tell him no. You want him to be part of it.
Yeah, you just do what you're doing now. I wouldn't be paying him, that's for sure. I'd be like, hey, Yadi, like all things considered here, you're part of the organization. We'll put you on the team list there.
Right.
But we're not paying you to live in Puerto Rico and do nothing. Like,
right.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. We have, at the board, we have 3 stars of the day. We have criticisms and compliments. Next on 101 ESPN.
Gentlemen, if you're currently using ED meds, first of all, nobody cares as long as you're ready to go when it's game time. That's the way I look at it. But you're probably paying too much for those ED meds. And you know what I'm talking about, little blue pill, the gummy things. That's great, but you're probably paying too much, which is why you have to head over to the Medicine Shop in St. Charles. They're your destination for cheap ED meds. At the Medicine Shop in St. Charles, they've got a generic called Sildenafil, and they get you that for less than $2 a pill. Of course, prescription is required. And the pharmacy is an awesome spot over there. There's great people that work there, and they're there to help you with any questions that you have. You know, cold and flu season right around the corner. They're going to help you take care of that. Allergies are terrible, too. They're going to point you in the right direction, give you some ideas of how to work with that. And maybe any aches and pains that you're having, too. They care. They want you to be taken care of. They're part of their pharmacy family. And if you take any medicine on a regular basis, or if you have any medical needs that you have, like my daughter's a type 1 diabetic, and we use this amazing service that Medicine Shop provides where they offer you free discreet shipping and delivery to your home or your workplace. It's a great service for people with busy schedules, travel a lot, or just that can't get to the pharmacy on a regular basis. So please stop by, visit my friends over at the Medicine Shop today, or you can visit them online at stcharles.medicineshop.com. That's stcharles.medicineshop.com.
Missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast available at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 ESPN mobile app. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Time to bet the board. Marsh, I know you were looking at some of the updated standings from last night. Do you have them in front of you?
Yes, I do. And so it looks like all of us hit except for Carey, who's been in the lead. Yeah. So it's good that we're making up ground here. So the updated standings for us will be Carey at 8. I have 6. Jamie has 6. Anthony, you're at 5.
Okay. Let's see what Carey Davis sent us here. Ready, Carey Davis. Bet the board. Tyler O'Neill. Over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs at -110. So that's what Carey has. Taking the old Cardinal, Tyler O'Neill.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's that guy done this year?
A ton. He has done a ton. All right, so is it Marsh or Jamie?
It doesn't matter. Jamie, you can go. You're probably not going to pick what I'm going with anyways.
No, you go. I'm still mulling over a couple of things here.
Also, Anthony, I picked up on that pun that you just said.
What did I say?
Hasn't done a ton.
Oh.
T-O-N.
Yeah.
Anthony, well played. I'd give you full credit if you actually knew what you did.
No, I did.
Yeah.
Marsh, you're a smart kid.
Yep.
Real smart.
Give me the New York Jets' first drive result to be a punt at -105.
How is that even a thing?
Last 2 games, they have punted on their first drive. I think the Patriots defense does a good job, and they punt once again. -105, first drive.
That's pretty good.
All right. This is a huge matchup. Got the Phillies against the Mets. The Mets have been rolling lately. I'm going to take the Mets in New York at -140 on the money line.
I like that play. Tywin Walker, who is pitching for the Phillies, has over a 10 ERA in his last 5 starts.
Yeah, and Severino's been very good for the Mets.
He certainly has.
That's kind of how I've judged these games is I see who's on the bump, and I got to figure at that point, like if you got an ace or number 1, like 4 or 5 innings that go by, your team's probably winning 4 or 5 innings into the game.
You would think, yeah.
We'll see what the bullpen does. But kind of how I've been looking at this.
It's a smart strategy.
Yeah, it's a strategy. Anyway,
I think it's smart. I think a lot of savvy baseball bettors would do that as well. All right, I'm going to take, this one burned me the other night with Bijan Robinson, but I'm going to take Breece Hall over 32.5 receiving yards. Similar number for Bijan, who had 27, I think, by the second quarter, and that was it. Shut him down in the passing game. Kirky started to open things up a little bit. All right, Marsh, what do you got for criticisms and compliments?
Yeah, real quick here. We got from the 314, Full Fade Marshy. I guess they are a Jets fan.
Oh, wow.
I have the Jets winning. I just don't think they'll score on their first drive.
Oh, I think that's a pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Well, you had reason behind it.
Yeah. So, let's get to our 3 stars of the day before we get out of here. Our 3rd star of the day is going to go to the New Orleans Saints head coach, Dennis Gates.
Ah, yeah.
Oh, wait.
Ooh. Whoopsie. I called Dennis Allen Dennis Gates. That's
could have called him way worse.
That's a whoopsie doozy right there. That's on me.
2nd star of the day goes out to a lady who likes to let it go, and that is Elsa from the movie Frozen.
Good. Now, Marsha, as you pointed out, and as Deadpool points out, boy, Elsa ripped off that song from Barbra Streisand.
Yeah, do you want to build a snowman? Papa, can you hear me?
Yep.
Papa, can you hear me? 1st star of the day goes out to the documentary where, unfortunately, bees are just coming for you.
Yeah.
That is My Girl.
Yep.
We think.
You didn't know about. Well, no,
we confirmed.
Yeah,
I think. Close enough.
You didn't see that documentary.
I've never seen it.
It's an old documentary.
Probably will never see it.
I wouldn't watch it unless you have a box of tissues beside you.
Well, you know now what happens, though.
Yeah, for tears, Anthony.
Oh, yeah. Not for a cold.
Yeah, or allergies. Or
or the other thing.
Yeah.
Kid had bee allergies. That's what happened to him. All right, that'll do it for us. Don't forget, Jets Patriots pregame starting at 6:30 right here on 101 ESPN. See you.